Sunday morning, Pratham.
Oh, yes, yes. So, I want everyone to clap for yourself for showing up on a Sunday morning.
So now, let's reward our friends with a Paisa Vasool motivation.
Shraddha, can you please elaborate on the Paisa Vasool point?
Arey, Paisa Vasool, worth the Sunday and which should earn us in future.
So, friends, we here at Gyan Samved have the right Paisa Vasool thing for you. So, today we have a very engrossing orator with us, CMA Rajesh Shukla sir. Now I request Siddhant and Sanjana to please escort CMA Rajesh Shukla sir to the dais.
Good morning. I now request Sanjana and Siddhant to honor our speaker with memento and floral bouquet. CMA Rajesh Shukla sir is a qualified CMA having more than 30 years of post-qualification experience in finance and taxation with brilliant academic record and proven track record in the industry. Rajesh sir is a university topper of Amravati University in post-graduation and is a rank holder of CMA exam. Before joining Tata Motors, he has worked in reputed Indian business houses and MNCs like General Motors, Skoda Auto, Johnson & Johnson, Wipro Limited, VIP Limited, and Endurance Group, etc. He is currently working with Tata Motors as Senior General Manager and leading Center of Excellence, COE of Indirect Tax. He is responsible of indirect taxation of all Tata Motors Group entities operating in India and Asia's Pacific region, including JLR.
In addition to his responsibility for Tata Motors, he is also nominated as track leader for advocacy, knowledge management, and litigation management for the Tata Group companies in retail and consumer sector. He is also a member of taxation committees of various trade associations, including CCI and FICCI. He is a past chairman of ICMA Aurangabad chapter. In his current role, he is responsible for providing thought leadership to indirect tax team, framing of policies, advising management in decision making for business models, liaison with tax and government officers for various matters including fiscal incentives, setting up controls to ensure compliance, training and coaching of the team.
Wow, what a dynamic personality, sir.
So I now request CMA Rajesh Shukla sir to take a deep dive into the finance world and guide us all to train our skill sets for future.
So happy morning to all and happy Sunday morning. How many of you have got up today only, slept today and got up today? Can you raise hand? Great. Because see, I am from the generation where we sleep previous day and get up next day, but you are from the generation where you sleep same day and get up same day, and I appreciate the kind of energy you have. I am very happy to see very colorful audience today, and I think today is a traditional day uniform or dressing. I was not aware, otherwise I would have also got some color on myself. So had it been known to me, I would have been like you. So I thank Vikasa, I thank the chapter for inviting me. I was very happy that I was being invited along with my friends Umesh and Mr. Jigar, but I think because of some reason, Jigar has already done his session yesterday. You must have already enjoyed it, and Umesh has not come. But nevertheless, I'm very happy that I have been invited as a motivational speaker, because I think organizer must have thought that there are so many battery of speakers on technical thing, whether I can add any value to you as a technical expert. I have seen, and this is a very great creativity and creative thinking of them, that instead of calling me as a technical expert, they called me as a motivational speaker. But when I go through this entire brochure, I see a lot of creativity in brochure itself. The way they have organized the program, the sequence of subjects, and other things which are there from yesterday and today evening. You also got a great event and a lot of coupons for gift and other things. So it's a very, very creative team, I think, working in Vikasa. I congratulate them. I have also observed that it has got 4 motivational sessions. I don't know why we need so much of motivation for this young generation. They are so motivated, and if you want to really see their energy, I think we have to wait till evening. Today is a gala event, right? In the evening, all of you are going to show your spirit, your energy there. So I think this generation, and I have come for myself interest, because I don't know how much value I will add to you, but I always think that when we go with youngsters, we learn more. So I am looking for a two-way communication. They have given a very long introduction of myself, so don't keep your expectation very high. Keep your expectation minimum, because expectation reduces the joy. What I am going to do is that last 3 decades, I am in the industry. I am going to share my experience. I am not going to give you any GAN. I think it is GAN Samvad. That is the session which you have, but I am not going to do that. I am going to share my experience in the industry. And I think I am from the generation which is very lucky, because I have seen the physical record keeping. Many people may not know what is physical record in this generation, right? We have written our ledger by hands. From physical control in indirect tax, you are not aware that every gate there used to be a government officer or inspector, which we call it. Before, he used to put his stamp on the invoice. So physical stamp. From there we have reached to now digital stamp and digital control. So when you generate invoice, every invoice should be e-invoice reported to government. From defacing the invoice, I think most of you may not know what is defacing of invoice. So defacing of invoice to faceless assessment. So we have traveled so much. So what I am going to do is that I am going to share my thoughts, my experience, and my job is to mentor the team. I have got around 90 people working in my own team. So it is my day in day job to do mentor, to do coaching. And I think from that, whatever I have learned, whatever I experience, I can share what industry is looking for. I'm sure every day morning when you see your YouTube or you open your smartphone, you get bombarded with so many threats to your career. That ChatGPT has come, now so many jobs will go. AI has come, so many jobs will go. So don't worry. I think our profession, a finance profession, is the oldest profession, and it will remain there. Only thing is that we have to learn how to survive. So I think I'll share some of the tips on that. So before going into too many details on our own profession, let me bring to your attention, and I have divided this into 3 decades, right? So first, when I started my career in 1992, so I have taken 91 to 2000 as 1 decade, 2011 to 2020, and 2001 to 2010, and then 2011 to till now. So if you see the number of, and I am going to share with you some of the economic events, some of the social event, and some of the technical changes or technology changes which has come. So if you see this first decade, it was very less changes, very less impactful changes. If we go little fast forward and we see 2011, 1 to 2010, we can see the changes which are coming there are very more than what we have experienced in 1991 to 2000, and the impact also is more. Then we come to the decade which just passed by, and I have added 3 years of this decade because that is very easy for me to correlate. So if you see these all events, you will realize that these are the changes which were there are coming in much more speed, they are coming with much more impact, and they are touching to each one of us. One more thing which has happened in this last decade is that the world has recognized India. The world has seen how Indians can perform, and that is why you see now almost all big techie firms have Indian as their CEO. So I think it is very proud moment for all of us. So if you see, I think presentation has gone. Can you bring the presentation on the screen, please? So what I was trying to elaborate to all of you, that if you compare all the 3 decades, the change which we have seen is much more faster, which has got more coverage, which has got more impact. And this has changed our lives, and we should be all aware of this. So basically, change management is very, very important thing for all of us. So can you tell me which were the top 10 brands which were there dominating the world 20 years back, and we'll see whether they are there. So anybody can tell the brand from last 20 years? Yes. Nokia, correct. Kodak. So I think you already have got some idea of what I'm going to speak. So if you see all these companies, Blockbuster on entertainment, Dell in computer, Sony in consumer durable, and Nokia and all other things. So now they are not there. Why they are not there? And they have been replaced by next generation or next business models. So what is the theory? Why it happened? Why it is happening? So it is happening because of law of obsolescence, right? And what is law of obsolescence? Law of obsolescence is what exists today is already outdated, right? And as a corollary, tomorrow is going to be different. So if we keep these 2 things in mind, it will shaken ourselves, it will shaken our belief, because whatever we are today, we are already obsolete. So we need to reinvent ourselves continuously. And it also proves that who change, if those companies who are not there, they either did not agree to change or they change very late. So who change after the change and they cope up with the change will survive. Those who change with the change, they will succeed. And all those companies who are leading today, they caused the change. They brought the disruption in the market. They brought the disruption in the business. That is why they are today leading. Now, can you name some top job opportunities which are there today? Any guesses? Yes. Data science, right. Digital marketing. Anybody else? So I think you people are right. So these are the few jobs which are in demand in the market, and they command very good salary. And if you see all these, till 2012, 10 years back, these jobs were not in horizon. We were not even thinking of these jobs. People were not thinking that there will be a chief listening officer in the organization. We used to know HR head. Now HR has changed to people manager and CHRO and all those things. Now chief listening officers are coming. So why all these are happening is because the expectation of consumer is changing. The expectation of the employee is changing. The expectation, the way government wants us to respond, government wants us to do compliance is changing. So what I'm telling my friend is that the earlier thought process that once we are qualified, we are secured, that is not going to be there. Now, this what I have explained to you is little bit about the business, the overall economy, the global thing, but we also need to think what are the trends which are coming in my own field, right? Unless we know them, we cannot prepare ourselves for that. So let me share what are the recent trends in our own field. So first, if you can see, is digital transformation. So all the processes under finance are getting into transformational way, and all the processes are going digital. And if we don't know what it is meaning to us or what impact it will have, then we are in big trouble. Second important change which is happening in our own field is demand of decision making data. Earlier, we thought that our job is only reporting the figures, right? Audit करना है, annual report publish करना है, and then let the business team, let the market take a decision whether to invest, what to do, how to grow, what not to do in the company. But now the expectation from finance professional is that our data should be a data which can make meaning, which should be a decision, and this should be single truth. So earlier everything was fit to all one solution or fit to one size. Now it is not there. When we are dealing with procurement head, we have to share different data. When we are dealing with sales and marketing head, we have to share different data. When we are dealing with treasury team, we have to share different data. So, but data has to be from single source of truth. And now there is no scope of having multiple data, multiple reconciliations. And I will explain you how organizations are doing away with this basic fundamental concept of reconciliations. Decentralization of analytical teams. So earlier, I'm not saying that people were not doing analysis, right? People used to do analysis, and each one of them were having their own, like we have in Tata Motor, more than 15 manufacturing location as a group. So at each location, we had a team which was analyzing the variances, budget versus actual, submitting reports, and so on and so forth. But now what is happening in this all big organization is that they are creating a centralized analytics team. One is that technology has already come in, but on top of technology, what is happening is that we are creating a center of excellence in finance. So in my introduction, people have said that I am leading center of excellence of indirect tax. So within finance, there are various center of excellences which are being created. So our job is to see whether I have got the opportunity or skill set required for that. The next important thing is that the reporting on demand and fast close. So how many of you know that there are companies in India who are publishing their annual report on 1st of April for last financial year? Anybody knows this? No? So there are companies in India and within Tata Group who are publishing their annual report on 1st April or 2nd April. So can you imagine this? We are not even able to prepare our own monthly MIS, and people still are of the view that 30 days, 45 days or 60 days is minimum required for audit, right? So there are companies who are doing this, and they are ready with their public accounts on 1st. And how it is adding value to them? Because the analyst, the investor, they know immediately after the quarter end, on the very first day, what is the real state of affair in this company. Because everybody wants to take instant decision. If you don't share the information on a real-time basis, the investors are not interested in your company. So that is why this trend is catching up. The next important thing is that fourth way of ERP. So we know ERP, all of us we know ERP, right? So ERP is must now. You can't survive in the company or you cannot run the business if there is no ERP. You may have Oracle, you may have SAP, you call it whatever you call it. But we need all the processes integrated in one system. But now what is happening is that after that we used to talk about AI, machine learning and whatnot. But now there are ERPs which are with inbuilt AI, inbuilt ML capability, so that the all whatever work we as a professional are doing, it is done internally within system, within ERP, and whatever analysis you want is available. I know one company in Bangalore, and they are big hospital chain. They don't have any Excel, right? They don't use Excel. They don't use PPT, and they are running their business. Can you imagine any company working without Excel? Those who are working in industry, I don't know how many of you have opportunity. Most of you are freshers or yet to get qualified. But today, if you ask anybody, can you work without Excel? People will say no. But there are companies in India, so how they are working? Because they have got this kind of capabilities developed in their ERP. So this artificial intelligence is a new revolution which is catching up. So whatever finance is doing, they are able to do whatever as a professional we are able to do. So I am not threatening you, I am just telling you what are the new developments, and then we'll also discuss how we can prepare ourselves on this. Monitoring the risk through supplier integration. This is a new thing which is catching up. Earlier we used to work in silos. My company, within department, all those things we are doing. Now companies are talking about how we can mitigate the risk. And risk not only on part of compliance, but entire supply chain. And if you want me to give example of Tata Motor, I can tell you that we have a system now in place that when the vendor is raising invoice at his end, before he dispatch the material to the company, we already validate it, whether it is accurate in all respect, whether he has put right rate, right HSN code, right value, right quantity. So when the material reaches to our gate, it is just scanned. The document is just scanned and everything in P2P process is done. Everything accounting is done. So how it is helping? It is de-risking the business. So there is complete change and people are integrating. So they are giving visibility of stock of Tata Motor to vendors. We have given visibility of our stock to our dealers. So entire supply chain is integrated, and this is how the companies are working. And one more thing, as I said, the centralization is happening, and many companies like Tata Motor has already done it 10-15 years back. So earlier it was only account bill passing, then receivable, then reporting. Now the thing or the new theme is that people don't want to restrict to transaction processing. People want it to be a business solution processing units. So now it is not that only accounting will happen centrally. All the processes which are relevant to business are coming together, and the business solutions are being delivered through this centralized process. And as you must have heard that we are working here for JLR UK. So we are supporting their supply chain, we are supporting their customs compliance from here. So you can imagine that what kind of a power technology has given to all of us. So this is very, very important development. This is a very, very important trend which has come. So my friend, And some of the example of this technology, the development, the trend, and how the disruptions are happening. 20 years back, when I was in finance function, before making indirect tax as a specialization, I was responsible for all accounts payable thing. And in big organizations, we used to have a team who is going to handle accounts payable for A to say J, then another alphabet. So for having suppliers, we used to have a minimum 40-50 team member handling the accounts payable. Now, because of this transformation, entire O2C and P2P is completely wiped off. This entire team requirement is not there. So we are talking about this kind of a disruption or transformation. And because of this, the people who are having the skill set which were there earlier were now being redundant. The tax practitioners, like earlier, individuals or traders or professionals, they were dependent upon the tax advisor. Now most of the returns are coming auto-populated, right? So I don't know what will be impact of this. Maybe after some years, we will not need a people as an income tax preparer. I'm just giving an example. Budgeting and forecasting, as I explained to you, is one of the big job which was happening inside the finance function. Because of this advanced automation, artificial intelligence, machine learning, all this is being, basic thing is being done. So if there are thousands of line items to be identified variance analysis, it is done in a minute. We don't need a person for that. The auditors earlier used to go through each and every voucher, and they used to take number of months to do audit. And now what is happening? They are supposed to do only very high level checks as far as the transaction is concerned. They are checking the risk controls, control monitoring. So basically what I am telling you, the example which I have given from all the areas of finance, is that these disruptions are real, they are hitting us, and they are already there before you enter into industry. So what is the message? How to survive, right? Each one of us has the right to survive. You have put so much of hard work, you are going to be a qualified professional, so you will have passport to enter, right? But will that passport is enough? Will you be able to travel or take the flight? That all will depend if you do this. So what we have to do is scaling up our skills. So first thing we have to do SWOT analysis. I hope everybody knows SWOT, right? Because whatever I am going to tell or whatever I have told till now may not be equally applicable to each one of you. Each individual, each one of us has got a different strength, different weakness, different aptitude to take risk or efforts. So we have to do our own SWOT analysis. Then whatever skill sets we are going to discuss, we have to find which are relevant for me, which I can do myself, which I can acquire myself. And mostly we should try to get beyond traditional finance, because when you go for any interview as a qualified chartered accountant, it is already expected that you know the basics, right? You know the accounting standard which are applicable in particular situation, you know the tax provisions which are applicable situation, you know how to calculate IRR, you know everything. That is what is expected, okay? The experience which I have is different, which I am not going to speak here, but this is what is expected. So beyond that, beyond basics, what skill sets I have got? Whether I can handle diverse role. When we are taking now chartered accountants, we don't expect them only to work in finance function. We are putting them into supply chain function. We are putting them into marketing function. So because when you qualify, it is expected that you have analytical ability. You have that quotient to think differently. So it is not that only finance functions will absorb you. You have to think about diverse role. Next important thing is continuous learning. We need to invest on ourselves, right? We can't, the way I have explained you, we can't sit and keep quiet. Now I am CA, now what I am supposed to do? Because when we used to in school, parents were telling us, and most of you must have experienced, 10वीं पास कर ले, हो गया, अभी कुछ आगे प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, ठीक है? 12वीं हो जाने के बाद कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. अभी ये लोग बोलते CA होने के बाद कुछ प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. प्रॉब्लम कभी ख़त्म होने वाले नहीं है. We have to invest, we have to continuously study. Till today I feel I am a student, so that continuous learning approach has to be there. And most importantly is the soft skills, and I'm going to talk about that. So now, which are the skill set which are now relevant for finance professional, apart from our basic of finance, tax, accounting, whatever you call it. So digital proficiency, because I said that digital transformation is becoming and bringing new disruption. So unless we are upgrading ourselves as a technical person, not in the subject matter, but technology I am talking about, you should know how the data is structured inside, how what we can do, what can be mapped, what cannot be mapped. Can you give me one? So you need to invest yourself on that. Okay, maybe you can join some courses where Python you can learn. So all this coding which we thought that is of IT team is no more there. We ourselves have trained our own tax team to write the program, to write the queries. So you have to upgrade yourself on digital proficiency. Data analytics, most of you have already mentioned that it is coming as a new requirement. So you should know how data can be read, what data is telling. So data tells story. You need to learn how to read the story. You need to learn how to interpret and make story for your management. So that is very, very important thing. Strategic thinking and business acumen. So we cannot be very, very theoretical. We need to be practical. We should know what is the impact. And for that we have to read a lot, right? So we can't just go by rule book. We should read what is happening outside the world, how it is going to change my decision, or how my decision is going to impact. So this is very, 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 very important. Problem solving approach, very, very important. Change management, how to manage the change, because changes are going to come, right? Disruptions are going to come. And if for that I need to change my processes, I need to change my business modeling, how I am going to do that? That is very, very important. That is what I think the all young professionals should know. Then the communication with the stakeholders, and you should know what your immediate boss needs, what your CFO needs, what your board needs, what external auditor needs, what internal auditor needs. So stakeholder management, stakeholder communication, coordination, and don't think that मैं एंटर करने के बाद मेरे को इमीडिएटली कहाँ ये सब लोगों के साथ मिलना पड़ेगा. इट इज़ नॉट दैट वे. वी हैव सीन एंड वी आर इंडक्टिंग every year 15 plus chartered accountant freshers in our own system, and we are giving them this opportunity. So we are very happy that they are doing all this. So we have to do this. Storytelling, the way I have said, that when you understand the data, you need to make story, you need to tell them. Stories will appeal people, right? If you go and just simply show some Excel chart and Excel data, people will not understand. You have to make story out of that. Most important thing is that ethics and sustainable finance practices. We cannot be unethical, right? And we also need to learn embracing diversity and inclusion. So nowadays, this diversity is given very, very important. And people are not only talking the hiring of lady employees or the female employee. We are talking about the third gender. So people are going on that. So inclusiveness, and inclusiveness comes from broadening your prospect, respecting other views. So all these are the skill sets which we expect people to bring in when they come into industry. Now about what I said, that existing roles are going to go away. So we have already heard that एक दरवाजा बंद होता है तो दूसरा दरवाजा खुलता है. So I think with all this combination of new skill set and the expectation which we have set for ourselves, what are the opportunities? The way it has created challenge, these are the opportunities, because I think we as a professional, and you are all chartered accountants, you can do very, very good job as a data analyst, right? Digital transformation, you understand system, you understand data, you can integrate that. Sustainability and the green fund accounting. So this new area has come up. I don't know how many of you have heard about ESG? So very few people know about ESG. Now ESG is becoming very, very important. Sustainability is becoming important. People are bringing a green funds. There are so many of worth $1 billion or pounds, whatever you call, are ready to get invested into green field. So how to count that? How to count? Now we are in India not aware of the carbon tax, right? Or carbon trading. So these themes are already running in European countries and other advanced countries. Very soon it is going to come in India, because we are also party to COP and we have got net zero commitment. So many things, and in Tata Motor we have got so much of funds from one of the fund who want to invest, because we are going into EV business. Our focus is on EV. So all these are very, very relevant, and these are new streams, these are new opportunities, which as of now in India people are not thinking seriously. So I think you should be aware of this. Then we have this risk advisory, CFO outsourcing. So those who want to become a practitioner, they should not become practitioner like what we used to have traditional. You can become franchisee CFO, right? Because many companies, and mostly MSME sector, they don't have a capability to hire qualified person or very experienced person as a CFO. But people are ready even if the person is working as a part-time CFO and adding value to them. And this merger and acquisition, so what I have written here is not the merger acquisition which big fours are doing or which very specialist companies are doing. The merger acquisition is coming a big opportunity even in MSME sector, because I myself have seen many individuals who promoted their business, they become successful businessmen, but their next generation doesn't want to come in the same business. Now they want to give this business to someone else. So how to do valuation of that business? How to handle these mergers and acquisitions? Very, very big opportunity. So most of you may not be aware that this is a need of our people are looking for some support in the merger acquisition in MSME sector. I'm not talking about the big fours and big companies where people are there. Fintech is a new area, and I think this nobody has any doubt on that India is going to be becoming a very soon very big finance service center, right? All financial things will, and most of the companies who are having, like in UK, people were having a center for all financial services for Europe. But post Brexit, they have changed their location. So similar thing, I think Singapore have. So now our government has that focus, and I think 1 month back there was a news that so much of crores are getting invested, and in Pune there is going to be a center. So I think this is a very big opportunity. And finance transformation, whatever is I am talking about, and if there is a transformation, process transformation, this is a new area which people will get opportunity. Whatever traditionally which we are doing, all the traditional area also has changed. Indirect tax, you know, we used to have different tax system till 2017, and suddenly all professional like me, we are having no value because GST has come in, right? Unless we learn. So we need to have a capability of unlearn, learn, relearn, right? So I cannot unlearn excise because some cases are still going on, excise and service tax, but I have to learn GST because GST is new thing. The direct tax, so many changes, I think I need not tell you because you already have in syllabus all the changes which are coming in, and you must focus on all these new changes so that in traditional way of finance or traditional way of accounting also we are there. Other finance field, I don't want to speak, it is not my expertise. But at least in GST, what I see as a additional opportunity which has come because of the e-governance. Because in GST now everything is electronic. We have to do every compliance electronically, starting from the raising of invoice till filing of return, till vendor reconciliation. Everything is digitized. Everything is electronics. So these are the areas where even in the indirect tax field, you can make a career, and it is new and upcoming, right? So till now, GST audits have not started. Once the GST audits will start in full fledged, so much of work, so many litigations will be there. I think it is area to watch. I think it was going one way for a long time, so I need to pause and I need to ask this question to all of you. So what is difference between qualified and employable, or are they same? No answer? Any views? They are same, they are different. So why they are different? Correct. So whatever we have spoke till now was how to equip ourselves, right? But the difference between qualified and employable, that employable is deliverable, right? You can deliver things. So what we expect from professionals, the way I told you that I have got a team of 90 people, and every now and then there is a separation, I have to hire people there. So what we expect? So subject knowledge, as I said, is must. So communication, right? Presentation skill, storytelling, as I said, leadership, teamwork, problem solving, I have already spoken about. Initiative, self starter, we want self starter. आपको आया, इंडक्ट किया, आप बैठे रहे, जितना काम मिला उतना काम किया, you will not grow, right? Unless you have got inertia, unless you have got your own self motivation that I should do this, I should do that. I think that is very, very important. Planning, organizing, definitely. IT skill, we talk about digitization and adaptability of new techniques. So even this is not the end. The finance function is continuously going to evolve. So coupled with this, we have ever-changing needs of the employer, what we expect from our thing, department, then clients. If you are serving the clients, you are not coming in the industry, and so many competitive streams are going to compete with CA, right? You are CA doesn't mean that you are end of the story, and many of you must have got double, triple qualification. So this is not now going to be norm. So if you are CA doesn't mean that you didn't need to upgrade. So I think that we need to understand. And these are the delivered from professionals when we hire. So analytical skills I spoke about, technical knowledge, subject knowledge, rigorous work ethics, right? Meeting deadline. If you are brilliant, but you are not meeting the timelines, the management will not value you. Ability to work pressure, handle work pressure. So many times the work pressure gets created because of uncertain world, uncertain situation. So I think that we need to be ready for quick learning or grasping and value creation ability, because people will value you if you only create value for organization. And we should know that where to strike, right? I think most of you must have heard about the story that there was one ship which was sailing and the engine got stuck, right? And they had no way to but call somebody from outside to inspect. So the person came, he just saw the engine and he just put one hammer at one particular place and engine started cranking. And then he asked for $10,000. So the person who brought him, he said, why you need so much of money? You just put the hammer on the engine. He said, I am asking you money because I know where to hammer, right? Had you known this, you would not call me. So we should know where to strike. That is the value where we'll get our reward. So how to prepare to be employable? So we need to create strength. Strength is combination of your skills, your learning, your patience. So that will bring your strength. So you have to practice on all these, develop. So everybody is not born expert, right? So knowledge to be acquired. Now we are acquiring knowledge. When we are in profession, we are studying, we are acquiring knowledge. We have to identify talent within us. I said SWOT analysis. We have to do our own analysis. And then post that you have to develop your skill, right? So I'm very happy that you have got so much of good platform here, so many facilities with you. I come from the background where 30 years back when I started my career, or before that I started thinking, till I completed my BCom, I was not aware that there is a course called CA, ICW or anything else, right? I have studied in that kind of a backward area, and then from there I started. And then where I feel we have to go is basis our ability to develop ourselves. So we have to develop our skill. Why I am giving my example? Because many of you are much better placed than where I started, right? So I think all of you should feel happy, privileged, and you can get success because you already have got so much of facilities or connect available. Can anybody know this person? Pardon me? Stalin? Okay. Any other person? Any guess? And why I am showing this picture to you? So is Carlos Tasky, okay? And he was the recruit, or he was the soldier in Hungarian military, right? He was very good in shooting and he wanted to participate in Olympics, right? He was waiting for 1936 Olympics to get a chance, and that time he was only 26 of age. When he applied for that, he got answer that only officers can apply, you cannot apply. So he thought that he will get promotion and he will go into Olympic in 1940. Unfortunately, what happened is that when he was practicing in 1938, he lost his right hand in one bomb explosion. So he was a shooter with right hand. He was trained to shoot in right hand. So people thought that he is finished, right? But he started thinking, I can train myself, because finally I am shooting because my brain is with me. Brain is giving direction. So whether it is right hand or left hand, he started training himself with left hand. In 1940 and in 1944, the Olympic got cancelled because of Second World War. So from 1936, he was waiting, and then in 1948, he participated. People thought that he has come as an observer, but he participated and he won the gold. Why I am telling you this story is that the patience, the determination, the confidence, the hunger of success was there. So if he can do that, why can't we? So with this, I wish all the best to all of you, and thank you very much for giving me opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It was really great having you. Now I'd request Siddhant to give the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. It was an honor to share the dice with you. Um, Now, I will highlight a few points that I liked that will help us as a students from the sir's session. First thing that I liked that he mentioned is the law of obsolescence, because as we all know कि AI आ चुका है, so we also need to update ourselves. और जो AI tools है, they are actually देखा जाए तो हमारे लिए बहुत helpful tool है. So instead of thinking them as our competitor, we should think of how to use them, and that will help us to upgrade our skills. Then also, sir has also told us about the new job opportunities that we have available in the industries, and he has a experience, quite experience, and he is giving us guidance about where we can shift our focus on. So it has helped us to give us a direction. Also, I liked this quote that if you don't have a strategy, you are a part of someone else's strategy. So, guys, strategize your works. And the last example of Caroli was quite helpful, because in CA course as well, we need the same kind of persistence and determination. So, thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, a warm welcome to the mega conference hosted by the Pimpri-Chinchwad branch of ICI and Vikasa of Pimpri-Chinchwad branch of WIRC of ICI. I, Siddhi Bansal,
And I, Rati Agarwal.
would be your host for this session. This session is dedicated to the understanding and navigating the path of tax reforms. It is an honor to have you all here today as we explore the intricacies and implications of the goods and services tax. To initiate this enlightening gathering, please join me in extending a heartfelt welcome to our esteemed speaker of the session, CA Pankaj Patni, Vice Chairman of Pimpri-Chinchwad branch of WIRC of ICI. Now, I request Anurag Kavade, Secretary of Vikasa, Pimpri-Chinchwad branch of ICI, and Karthik Mazage, Vikasa committee member of Pimpri-Chinchwad branch of ICI, to escort our esteemed speaker to the dais. I request Anurag Kavade, Secretary of Vikasa, Pimpri-Chinchwad branch of ICI, and Karthik Mazge, Vikasa committee member of Pimpri-Chinchwad branch of ICI, to escort CA Pankaj Patni to the dais. Now I request CA Sachin Bansal, Chairman of Pimpri-Chinchwad branch of WIRC of ICI, to present CA Pankaj Patni with a memento and a floral bouquet.
CA Pankaj Patni is a practicing chartered accountant, currently a partner at Patni and Patni. He is in practice since the last 25 years. He is presently the Vice Chairman of Pimpri Chinchwad branch of WIRC of ICAI, and he was also the Treasurer of the branch in 2016 and Secretary of the branch in 2022. He has been in the managing committee for the 7 years. He has delivered many lectures on GST, VAT, and union budget at various forums. He was a lecturer in Ramakrishna More College for 7 years on the subjects of accountancy, costing, direct and indirect taxation to the BCom students. We are thrilled to have you, sir, to share your profound insights on GST.
We have an exciting session ahead of us, and I'm delighted to introduce our paper presenter, someone who has dedicated their expertise to understanding and analyzing the intricacies of GST system. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to our esteemed paper presenter, Mr. Shreyansh Singhvi. He would be speaking on the topic simplifying GST return filing and would be giving his insights into input and output analysis.
Respected chartered accountants, to be chartered accountants, my dear friends, excellencies, dignitaries present over here. जीएसटी का नाम सुनते ही कई जनों को पसीना छूटने लग जाता है कि क्या जीएसटी है, क्या पता है. And when it comes to the return filing, it almost gets a tough job to deal with the returns. But what if I say working with GST returns is quite easy and as simple as you solve a normal mathematics problem, addition, subtraction. Yes, it is possible. But you may say, how? So, hello you all beautiful people present over here. I, Shreyansh Singhvi, stand before you to present on the topic simplifying GST returns, insights into input and output analysis. Now, before we move on to the topic of returns, first let us understand what are the types of taxpayers we have got into this GST regime. So broadly, if we try to classify, there are many more types, but if we try to classify, there are two types of taxpayers. The first being your composition taxpayer, the second being your regular taxpayer. Now again, regular taxpayers are subclassified into monthly and the second being your quarterly. But for today's session, we will have our prime focus on the monthly returns. Yeah, there are monthly GSTR1s, there are GSTR3Bs. So let's get started. GSTR1. Now what is GSTR1? If I were to define GSTR1, I would say it is a detailed statement or a detailed reporting, invoice-wise reporting of all the sales that you have effected in a particular month. Sales returns, everything will be reported in this GSTR1 in a detailed format. Mark my words. Okay. So what's the scope of GSTR1? The scope of GSTR1 can be divided into all these tables. Now you may again ask, Shreyansh, is it really required to understand all of them? I will answer yes. But for today's session, we'll just focus on the prime part, which is available or is required in most of the returns. Even if I say 100% of the returns, some of the points which we'll be discussing will be applicable. Let's start with one by one. The first being your B2B supplies and B2C supplies. Now again, some might ask, what is this B2B supply and what is this B2C supply? Normally, we'd say a transaction between two businesses is B2B supply and B2C supply is from a business to consumer. But in GST tax or in the indirect tax laws, we have got a slightly different definition. For B2B supplies, it is a transaction between two registered taxpayers or registered persons, and B2C supply is a transaction between a registered person and another unregistered person. So the unregistered person may be a direct consumer, or he may be such a businessman who has not got any GST registration. Okay? So let's get started. The first, B2B supplies. Here I have noted down some checkpoints which we need to consider while filing or working on GST R1s. Mark my words, if you follow all these points, you will not get any problem in your GST R1 as well as in the upcoming GST R3. We all know we have got a due date for day after. So if you are going to work on that, I am sure you can take the help of these points. The first one, your invoice number. Please check whether the client has put in his invoice number in 16 alphanumeric characters. The length should not exceed this limit. What if I try to exceed the limit? Whether you are working on your software or whether you are working through a GST portal, you will be popped up an error. Strictly, you should restrict the length to 16 characters. It may be any series that the client has got. Second, your customer name. Now, mentioning of customer name is not mandatory because, as you can see in the third point, mentioning of GST is mandatory. Once you state the GST registration of your recipient, the name will get auto-populated. However, if you are working on some software, then you may get a column where you need to insert the customer name. Now there are two types of names in the GST tax. The first is your legal name, the second is your trade name. Now legal name and trade name may differ in some cases, particularly in proprietary businesses. How? Let me cite you an example. I, Shreyans Shingvi, I am the proprietor of Shreyans Enterprises. So Shreyans Enterprises is my trade name, the name under which I carry out my business. And Shreyans Shingvi is the name of the proprietor, my legal name. So if you wish to specify the customer name, it will be the legal name that you will specify and not the trade name. Okay? Third point, GSTIN. GSTIN is very important in GST R1. Why? Because it is only the GST number on the basis of which the recipient will be able to claim the ITC on his purchases, right? 3 points to be noted in GST number. It should be 15 alphanumeric characters in the format specified as over here. It's just a dummy GST number I have put in over here. What's the format? First 2 characters are your state code. The next 10 digits or characters are your PAN number. The next is the registrations taken against that PAN. Z is what you have got a default character for all the registrations. And the last number is the checksum, which depends. It can either be a number or it can be a character, depends upon the situation. And last but not the least, in GSTIN, you should always check whether the person says your client has put in his own GST instead of the recipient's GST. Because many times it happens, he keeps the invoice in front of himself and puts in the GST. There may be a flip that instead of putting the recipient's GST, he may put in his own GST. Right? So while working on Excel sheets, you can easily filter it out and find out whether he has made any such mistake or not. Fine? Let's move on to the next slide. Now, what if I have got an invoice where I need to report 2 tax rates? For example, I have got a taxable supply of say 200 rupees, 100 rupees taxed at 12% and 100 rupees taxed at 18%. So can anyone just tell me the total tax that comes out? 12 plus 18, that comes out to rupees 30. So 30 divided by 200 multiplied by 100, my average tax rate comes out to comes out as 15%. But there is no such tax rate as specified in the GST regime, right? So for that purpose, whenever you have got an invoice which has two or more taxables or two or more tax rates, you need to report them separately. Of course, the invoice number and the invoice value will be the same, but the tax rates, the taxable for each part will be different. Okay? Finally, details in case of amendment. Now, many times it may happen that you may get some clerical errors in your invoice, and the front party or the recipient may ask you to amend the invoice or change the details of the invoice. So, in that case, it is a very simple process. There is nothing such big hype as amendment. The only thing you need to do is take up your original invoice that you had issued, put that original invoice number and invoice date, and just put in the new details. Don't take the old details, put in the new details, whatever your taxable, your tax amount, anything, and mention it that. Your invoice will get amended. There is nothing rocket science in amendment and nothing hype created about amendment, right? Okay. Now before we move on to B2C supplies, I have got another point of this slide. Never ever try to report a negative figure in sales, because it is quite logical. You cannot report a negative figure in sales, right? So please note that anywhere in your R1, no negative amount should be reported. Fine? Let's move on to B2C supplies. What are B2C supplies? I have stated, registered person supplying to another unregistered person. Again, it is divided into two parts, B2CL and B2CS. L stands for large, S stands for small. What is this large and what is this small? Let us understand B2CL. Automatically we will come to the part of B2CS. Note that we have got an AND clause in the B2CL. Interstate supply and invoice value of more than 2,50,000. Let me repeat again. In interstate supply, that is transaction from one state to another, and the invoice value is more than 2,50,000. Only in that case, the B2CL will come into picture. Okay? If any of these conditions are not satisfied, your amount or your invoice will get reported in B2CS. Okay? Now, another point of distinction between these two. In B2CL, you need to report the figures invoice-wise. However, in B2CS, you can consolidate the total sales figure depending upon your state, your supplying, and the tax rate as the tax which is applicable. Now, in order to understand the topics which might be confusing, I have come up with small case studies. Let us go through them. Let's think. The registered supplier is from Maharashtra. The registered recipient, the recipient is from Maharashtra again. The invoice value is of 3 lakh rupees. Tell me under which head I will be reporting this amount. Anyone? B2CL or B2CS? Absolutely correct. It is B2CS. As I stated earlier, B2CL will get triggered only if both the conditions are satisfied. Interstate as well as more than 2,50,000. Here it's an intrastate transaction and not an interstate. Hence, I will mention this amount in B2CS. The third part, exports. Whatever points we have discussed in case of B2B supplies, all those points are applicable in case of exports. Except that you don't need to mention the GSTN. Of course, you don't have a GSTN in case of a foreign party. It's for the Indian registered party, right? And some additional points you need to know in case of exports. You need to have your shipping bill number and the shipping bill date. Definitely, in case of export of services, you won't be having shipping bill number because you are not physically shipping anything, you are not consigning anything. Okay? One more point. Shipping bill date can be the date up to your date of return file. For example, if I am filing the return of June month, say on 9th of July, I can have the shipping bill date of say 6th of July. It is possible, but you need to note your invoice number cannot be of the date after your tax period. It should be within the span of 1st of June and 30th June, or if I'm talking about June month return. Second point, tax. Is tax applicable or not? If it is applicable, it will be IGST only, because all exports are considered as interstate transactions, right? Now there are two parts. I said if it is applicable. Is there any case where tax is not applicable? Yes. There is a case. If you have got a letter of undertaking, you can effect your exports absolutely at 0% tax rate. Okay? So again, for this I have got a case study for you. Tell me whether this case is practically possible or not. Let me explain it myself. Yes, it's absolutely possible. Now the taxable value is 4 lakh rupees. Tax amount I am trying to report is 18,000. Applicable tax rate is 18%. Now you may wonder how it's possible. 4 lakh into 18%, my tax amount comes out to rupees 72,000. I am trying to report. I am suppressing my SGST tax. So if you assume that sales to the tune of 3 lakh rupees are without payment of tax, then there is no question of IGST. Only the 18% will be applicable on 1 lakh rupees. Okay? And hence, this case is practically possible. You can be rest assured, this case is absolutely possible. Having done with exports, let's move on to credit notes and debit notes. Now, credit notes and debit notes are such instruments through which either you can decrease your output tax liability or you can increase your output tax liability. Simply, if I were to say you, credit notes are issued generally when there is a sales return, and debit note is issued when you have got a rate difference. For say, I sold the goods at 10 rupees, but the rate has been now revised to 12 rupees. For the additional 2 rupees, I issue a debit note which will increase my output tax liability. Okay? You need to know the difference between credit note and debit note, because many a times there is a confusion. And also note that if your client is trying to report a credit note of sales with GST of input GST account, then that's totally wrong. Because sales related credit notes and debit notes, the effect of GST should always be given to output GST and not input GST. Because output GST में तुम्हारा liability बढ़ रहा है, input GST में तुम credit ले रहे हो, तुम credit नहीं ले रहे हो यहाँ पर, तुम्हारे sales से related, right? So you need to note this point as well. Many clients do make an error at this point. We need to, when it comes to at the point of audit, it becomes very hectic. So it's always better you nip it at the bud and clear it at the time of monthly return filing. Very, very important, your HSN summary. Let me read out the points. It must match up with the outward supplies adjusted with your credit notes and debit notes. Why I have emphasized on the word must? Because when it comes at the time of annual reconciliation, the turnover as reported by your sales and debit note credit notes and the turnover you are trying to report to your HSN summary does not match. It is very difficult to then reconcile them. Hence, it is a good practice and it must match up at the monthly level itself. Same HSN codes with different tax rates. I will come on to this point in the next slide. HSN code starting with 99 pertain to services, their UQC must be NA and quantity 0. Logical. You cannot have a quantity for services because services are intangible in nature and they cannot be quantified. So their quantity will be 0 and measurement unit will definitely be not applicable NA. And last but not the least, 6-digit or 8-digit HSN code is mandatory for all the taxpayers having average annual turnover of more than 5 crore rupees. If your client is not complying with that part, ask him to get an appropriate HSN code. Okay? Now, the point which I was talking about in the second, in the last slide, same taxable, same HSN code, but different measurement unit and different tax rate should be reported in separate line items, as you can see over here. In the first two line items, the measurement unit is the same, but the tax rate is different. I have tried to report them differently. In the first and the third line, though the tax rate is same, my measurement unit is different. So I have tried to report them differently. And for services, as I stated earlier, my measurement unit will be 0 and quantity will, measurement unit will be NA, quantity will be 0. one more case study. I had made a statement earlier, you cannot report a negative figure in anywhere in your GST R1. Tell me whether this case is practical or not. Is it possible or not? So considering my statement, it must not be possible. But what if I say it is absolutely possible? Has anyone got a logic why it is possible, and I myself have reported in one of my returns? Has anyone got a reason why I can do so? Yes? Absolutely correct. Fantastic. What if I don't have sales pertaining to this HSN in that month, but I got sales return for that month? Obviously, sales return will be reported as negative figure. If I don't have any sales, I will be obliged to report that figure in negative form. So this is an exception to what I stated in HSN summary. In such an exceptional situation, you can have a negative figure as well. So don't get confused. अरे client ने ऐसे कैसे working कर दिया? नहीं. It is correct. It may be correct. You need to just reconfirm. And finally, your documents issued. Whatever documents you have issued, take their total count, take the number of invoices or documents cancelled, and finally you arrive at the net count of the invoices. It might be invoices, it might be credit notes or debit notes, delivery charges, anything, you just need to report that. Okay? Having this, getting done with the part of GSTR1, let's move on to GSTR3B. Now GSTR3B won't take much of time. We'll wrap up it as soon as possible. GSTR3B. Now what is GSTR3B? GSTR3B, unlike GSTR1, is a summary statement. And GSTR1 was a detailed statement, invoice-wise reporting. GSTR3B is a summary statement of all the sales as well as the purchases that you have made for a particular tax period. What is the scope of GSTR3B? You first state your output tax liability. You then utilize your available or eligible input ITC. And finally, you find out whether you have got a GST payable or whether you have got ITC to be carried forward to the next month. Can the Excel file be open? I've got a short Excel working for you all, where with the format that we usually follow in our office, and even you can follow the same. I hope the figures are visible. Can you please zoom it a bit? See, first you state your output tax liability. Whatever sales you have got, yes, of course you will bifurcate them depending on their nature, whether they are exports, SEZ supplies, link supplies, normal B2B supplies. You will bifurcate them, but for each segment, a consolidated figure will be reported. And mind well, it is net of debit note and credit note. No separate debit notes, credit notes will be issued in GSTR3B. No mention, nothing will be mentioned. Second, you take your RCM liability. Now, there is a special point for RCM liability. We'll come to that point later on. You take whatever services or goods you have availed through RCM or under RCM. Be it transport charges, your security charges, your legal fees, anything. Understand the tax rate, compute that, arrive at your RCM liability. Okay, done with the first part. The second part, done with the getting to the third part, ITC available. Most crucial point in your GSTR3B, because this is the factor that will decide whether you have got a GST payable or a GST to be carried forward. You can have multiple line items over here. I have tried to consolidate a bit. Import ITC. If you have imported some goods, you can have your import ITC. You can have your normal ITC, net of debit note, credit notes. Again, it is net of debit notes and credit notes. Third, RCM for June 23. RCM for particular month. Now you may ask the question, श्रेयांश, ऊपर तो आपने GST RCM liability दिखाया था और नीचे आप तुरंत ITC available भी दे रहे हो. How is that possible? You all must be aware that RCM credit can be availed only upon the payment of the tax. right? If you don't pay the tax, you are ineligible to claim the RCM credit, right? So for that reason, you take the RCM liability as well, and you can claim the credit simultaneously. There is not much issue. Fourth, if you have got any block credit, you will reverse it. If you have got some invoices or goods of which the supplier has not filed the GSTR, you need not consider that in your eligible ITC, because all the conditions as specified from section 16 to section 21 of the CGSTR 2017 need to be complied with. And one condition, if I am not wrong, is filing of GST return by the supplier. Only then you can claim the credit. If having the invoice is not mandatory, is not sufficient, the filing of return by the supplier is equally important. Last, if you have got any claim which you had not claimed earlier, you can claim right now if you are eligible for that. And finally, you come at the figure of your total ITC, IGST, CGST and SGST. Last but not the least, your credit utilization. How will you utilize your credit? There is a rule. First, you will exhaust all your IGST credit. Everyone is aware of this rule? First, you need to fully exhaust your IGST credit. Only then you can move on to the rest of the credits. IGST credit will be first settled off against your IGST tax liability. Any balance remaining will be distributed among CGST and SGST. You can have ideally any proportion, 20-80, 40-60, 50-50, but it is always advised to have an equal share of IGST balance. Because what happens, if there is a mismatch or improportionate distribution between CGST and SGST, the tax goes on accumulating in one part itself, and at one point of time you find that अरे CGST में तो 1 लाख का क्रेडिट है, SGST में 10 लाख का क्रेडिट पड़ा हुआ है, ऐसा कैसे? You don't try to do that. It is always good if you try to distribute your IGST balance in equal format. You may arrive at a GST balance payable. Now you come to your CGST and SGST credit. Whatever credit is available, you will fully utilize that. And finally, you arrive at a balance payable or carry forward. Now, you may wonder why there are two such line items, payable and net payable in cash. Mind well, I had stated earlier that RCM credit can be availed only upon the payment of the taxes. So, if I were to find my net cash liability, I will consider that RCM liability as well. So, when I try to, so you can see the difference, 31,400 and 35,000. The net difference is due to my RCM liability, right? So this is all about what I wanted to show to the Excel sheet. Now we can move to the slideshow. So that's basically what GSTR 3B is. State your liability, utilize your credit, find out your GST payable and ITC or the ITC carry forward. There are many such points which you need to consider in these points, but I think this was a foundation or an intermediate level of working. You can have a much more advanced in this GSTR working. Can I share just one interesting fact? If I'll just borrow a couple of minutes. Do you know, even if the supplier does not file his GSTR1, the same invoice can get reported in your GSTR2A. Has anyone noted this fact? Has anyone come across such a situation? Supplier has no, it sounds strange, but it's absolutely possible. Supplier has not filed his GSTR1, but still the invoice is reported in GSTR2A. How? To avoid e-invoicing. If e-invoicing is applicable to that client, he may have uploaded on the GST portal, but he has not filed his GSTR1 up to the required due date. Yes, then it may get reported in your GSTR. And I have practically seen this in the last month's return. But yes, when you see your GSTR2A, there absolutely you will be able to see the supplier's credit. But the return filing status will be seen as no. The return filing नहीं किया तो of course no नहीं दिखेगा, right? Last but not the least, let us briefly talk about nil returns. What are these nil returns? Some might have confusion. Even I had a confusion when I was understanding it. Now I think it's absolutely clear for me. GSTR1. When do we file this GSTR1? When you don't have any outward supplies or anything related to that. No debit notes, no credit notes, nothing. Then you can issue or you can file a nil GSTR1. When do you file your nil GSTR3? When you have not got any outward supplies, plus again there is an and clause. Oh. Just a minute. Okay, we'll continue. I'll just wrap it up. In GSTR, when can you file a nil GSTR3? When you don't have any outward taxable supplies and you don't have any inward supplies as well, whether under RCM or under FCM. Okay, so that's what I just wanted to share with you all. If you have got any queries, I'm glad to answer them. I'll try my best to answer them. Otherwise, thank you and happy learning. Yes, any queries? Can anyone please pass on the mic?
ते लास्ट पॉईंटमध्ये तू सांगितलं होतं की 2A माझं बिल दिसतंय पण त्याने R13 बी नाही भरला ई इनवॉइसिंगमुळे मग मी त्याचं क्रेडिट घेऊ शकतो का?
No, because one condition as specified from section 16 to 21 is the supplier should have filed his nil return. Sorry, should have filed his GSTR. Only then you can think of it.
आणि ते एक्सपोर्टचं एक सांगत होता तू की जर क्रेडिट युटिलायझिंग प्लेस ऑफ सप्लायचं जर मी माझी एक पार्टी आहे आउट ऑफ द इंडिया इटलीची पार्टी आहे त्यांच्या नावाने मी सेल करणार आहे प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाय माझा इथं आहे गुजरातला आहे तर मला IGST ॲप्लिकेबल आहे का त्याच्यावरती सेलवरती गुड्स
Of course, exports होते हैं.
सर
पार्टी GST registered parties नहीं है.
रजिस्टर पार्टी आहे
मतलब exports कैसे होते हैं?
बिल माझं त्यांच्या नावावर होणार ना आउट ऑफ कंट्रीच्या नावावर होणार इटलीच्या पार्टीत बट प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाय माझा गुजरातला आहे
तेच सांगतो मी तुला. जर तुझा प्लेस तुझा रजिस्टर पार्टीज तुला आउट ऑफ इंडियाची आहे. बघ हे बिल टू शिफ्ट मॉडेल कन्सेप्ट होतो. ज्या पर्सनला तू बिलिंग करतोय तो केस ऍप्लिकेबल होतो. आता मी तो एक पॉइंट घेतला नाही बट बिल टू शिफ्ट मॉडेल तुला माहिती असेल. तू बिलिंग एकाच्या नावाने करतोय पण पाठवतो तू दुसऱ्याला आहे. मग ते कसंही असू दे पर्सन आउट ऑफ इंडिया एक्सपोर्ट्स मध्ये जाणार. म्हणजे मॅटर नाही करणार की तू इकडच्या इकडे ट्रान्सपोर्ट करतो.
बट ते मी इकडे ट्रान्सफर करतो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाय येतो ना माझा प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाय विद इन द कंट्री आहे ना.
हो बरोबर आहे. जी पार्टी आउट ऑफ इंडियाची
शिफ्ट टू मध्ये त्यांचं नाव येतं मी सप्लाय पण इथंच करतो तर मग IGST ॲप्लिकेबल आहे.
तेच सांगतोय तुझा ट्रान्झॅक्शन किंवा टॅक्स जे काही ऍप्लिकेबल आहे ते ज्याच्या नावाने बिल होतोय त्या हिशोबाने जातो. ज्याला तू शिफ्ट करतोय ट्रान्सपोर्ट करतोय त्याचं काही घेणं नाही.
मग तिथं प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाय हे ॲप्लिकेबलच नाही तो कंप्लाय करत नाही ना GST फक्त विद इन इंडिया लागतो. विद इन इंडिया मी सप्लाय करतोय बिल टू शिफ्ट मध्ये काय ना फर्स्ट जर GST असेल तर त्याला तो सप्लाय करणार आणि सेकंड वन असेल त्याला नंबर आहे तर तिथं GST ॲप्लिकेबल होतं ना.
I think sir can answer this. I really don't have
So in export, your goods should be travel or supply outside the India. Then and then only it is export. When it is supply within India, and if that person where you are supplying the goods having GST number, then it is IGST applicable because it is from Maharashtra to Gujarat. So IGST is applicable on the same.
Thank you, Mr. Shreyansh, for your dedication and contribution to the understanding of GST. Can we have a huge round of applause for him? Now let us welcome Ms. Purnima Joshi, our second paper presenter for the session, to share her insights on interconnected world of e-invoice, e-way bill and GST return.
एक बार चेक कर दो ATM जा होईल ना
इथं नाही थांब
Hello, good morning everyone. Myself Purnima Joshi. Today I am here to present my research paper on the topic of the interconnected world of e-invoice, e-way bill and GST return. E-invoice, e-way bill and GST return are the form of modern tax compliances. These three are components of goods service tax system. The main aim of goods service tax, the main aim of GST is to reduce tax evasion and simplify the tax process. These are some particulars who connects the GST portal, e-way bill and e-invoice portal like supplier GSTN, supplier name, invoice number, invoice data, buyer's GSTN, place of supply, HSN code, description of goods, taxable value, applicable rate and tax amount. E-invoice. Anyone knows what is e-invoice? E-invoice is a electronic form of invoice. It helps to standardize digital format of e-invoice. It helps to storing invoice electronically and replace the traditional paper-based invoice method. In this slide, I want to explain that when supplier generates e-invoice, after that e-invoice is auto-populated within 24 hours through IRP portal, GSTN portal, and after the filing GST return, GSTR1 form from supplier, it's auto-populated on buyer's portal in the form of GSTR2A. The benefits of e-invoicing is one-time reporting, easier ITC claim, easy reconciliation, real-time tracking, and seamless generation. E-way bill. Anyone knows what is e-way bill or when it is used? Yes. E-way bill. E-way bill is a bill which used for transportation of goods, movement of goods in state or in other state. The limit of e-way bill is for in state is 1 lakh and in outstate is 50,000. The main objective of e-way bill is to hassle-free movement of goods, no need to transit past in any state, easier verification with complete details, and one-way bill of movements. Benefits of e-way bill is to no need to visit tax offices, no waiting period for check post, then environment friendly and revenue growth, and it works to accurate data and analytical work. The how e-way bill and e-invoice portal is connected. When when supplier generates invoice, it's some data like supplier GSTN, buyer GSTN, place of supply, HSN code is auto-populated on e-way bill portal, and it helps to reduce manual work in part A, and in e-way bills part B, supplier puts logistic information to supply the goods. GST return. GST return is a regular statement taxpayer needs to file in order to report their sale, purchase and tax liability under the goods and service tax system. It helps to reduce tax evasion and cascading effect of tax. These are some advantages of GST. It's remove cascading effect, higher threshold for GST registration, regulating the unorganized sector, increase efficiency in logistic, define treatment of e-commerce and activities, relatively easier compliances under GST. The conclusion. E-way bill, e-invoice and GST portal, it's helped to improve, simplify and straight methods to reduce taxpayer. Sorry, please, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Purnima. Can we have a huge round of applause for her? We really appreciate all the efforts taken by both the paper presenters and all the hard work and dedication put in by them. Now let us welcome CA Pankaj Patni for sharing his insights on goods and services tax.
So, good morning. How is the जोश? कल से आज ज़्यादा है. So, okay. So, dignitaries on the dais, Vikasa team, and I think Vikasa team is doing very well. So, I think first we are supposed to give loud applause to all the Vikasa team. So, what is GST? So, जब GST आया था तो हमारे बहुत सारे सेमिनार में कहा जाता था व्हाट इज GST? इट इज घनो सारो टैक्स. बट नाउ डाउन द लाइन आफ्टर implementation of the GST, now it is not घनो सारो टैक्स, but still there is a घनो सारो work in the GST. Okay. I think Shreyansh has given very good insight about the GST return. So, do you think that? So it's really, he is giving, and I am also happy to see that कि जो audience है वो भी study करके आए हैं. So good googly from the audience also for Shreyans, but he tries his level best, correct? And Purnima is also, she has little bit डर गई थी शायद, लेकिन उसका स्टडी भी अच्छा था. तो what you think after hearing the Purnima, what you think after e-invoicing, e-way bill and everything, GSTR1 और ये जो compliance level है कितना रहेगा? मतलब after implementing all e-invoicing, e-way bill, then down the line E3B return, तो क्या लगता है आपको? So over the period, government want to reduce the compliance level and everything on e-portal. तो आप बोलेंगे फिर सर आगे काम क्या रहेगा? क्योंकि सब अगर ऑटोमेशन ही होने वाला है तो काम क्या रहेगा? तो काम कुछ कम होने वाला है नहीं. There is a definitely GSTR1, GSTR3B or litigation practice. So I think you all students definitely on the right path because future is related to GST practice only and that is mainly on litigation. So try to study of the litigation of the GST. So मुझे लगता है इतना काफ़ी है क्योंकि अभी बहुत कुछ सुनना है आपको और पढ़ाई के साथ में थोड़ा आज एंटरटेनमेंट तो होना ही है. तो आई थिंक बोथ आर मतलब आई रियली कॉन्ग्रेचुलेट बोथ द पेपर राइटर, दे आर डन वेरी वेल जॉब. सो थैंक यू वेरी मच एंड ऑल द बेस्ट एंड एंजॉय योर सेल्फ. थैंक यू.
Thank you, Pankaj sir. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and participants, as we come to the end of this remarkable session, I stand before you to express our heartfelt gratitude. It has been an extraordinary journey of learning, inspiration, and collaboration. Before I proceed, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge and appreciate the collaborative efforts of everyone who has contributed to the success of this session. I now invite Siddhi to present the vote of thanks.
I request Pankaj Patni sir to present the paper presenter with mementos. For the vote of thanks, I would like to extend our sincere thanks to CA Pankaj Patni, our paper presenters, who share their invaluable knowledge and expertise. Your insights have enlightened us and enriched our understanding of the topics of GST. We are grateful for your time, dedication, and commitment to creating an engaging and informative experience. A special note of appreciation goes to our conference organizers, committee members, and volunteers. Your hard work, meticulous planning, and attention to detail have ensured a seamless and memorable session. Thank you one and all once again for being a part of this remarkable event. Now get ready for an exciting quiz round for everybody present here. I request Varun to please come for the quiz round.
I am back. Since yesterday we have experienced a very good quiz round, get ready for another quiz round. For those who weren't yesterday, I will just like to shortly repeat this few parts of the rules. You have to WhatsApp the information on the number which will be displayed. That number is of the branch. You need to WhatsApp your full name, the question number, the correct option, and what's written in that option. All the three things. No chorus answer. No surfing it on internet. No cheating. In case if we find anybody spamming unnecessary things, we will be asking them to come on the stage and they would have to give explanation for the options which they have selected. Number 1. What is GSTR3? What is GSTR3? Option number A. Summary return with revenue. Option number B. Monthly quarterly return with invoice-wise outward supply details. Option number C, an auto-populated return. Option number D, none. Your timer starts now, 30 seconds. Please WhatsApp on the number of the branch of PCMC. The number is on the board. Question number 2. Who is responsible for e-way bill? A. Buyer. B. Seller. C. The person who causes the transport of goods. Option number D. None of the above. Your timer starts now. No discussion, please. Here comes the third question. If a taxpayer fails to pay the supplier within dash days from the date of dash, then the ITC availed will be reversed. Option number 1, 90 and receipt. Option number 2, 180 and invoice. Option number C, 180 and receipt. Option number D, 90 and invoice. Your time starts now. Time's up. Here comes the next question. What are the 4 slabs of GST? What are the 4 slabs of GST? Option number A, 5%, 10%, 18%, 28%. Option number B, 5%, 12%, 18%, and 28%. Option number C, 5%, 16%, 20%, and 28%. Option number D, 5%, 10%, 18%, and 30%. Your time starts now. No discussion, please. Okay. Time's up. Last question of this round. When did e-way bill start? Option number A, 1st April 2018. Option number B, 1st June 2018. Option number C, 31st March 2016. Option number D, 1st April 2019. Your time starts now. Please WhatsApp with your full name. Time's up. Here we end this round. Thank you.
Good morning. I am Sayukta Dhadve, committee member of Vikasa of Pimpri-Chinchwad branch of WRC of ICAI.
And I am Nidish Poddar, co-opted secretary of Vikasa, Pimpri-Chinchwad branch of WRC of ICAI. Now, I would like to request Pratham and Rishikesh to escort Sir to the dais.
Now I would request Prathamesh to present memento and bouquet to Sir.
So, I am beyond excited to be here with you today as we dive into the third session of the second day of this mind-blowing conference. And let me tell you, this session is going to be a game changer. We're about to explore the incredible power of thinking big in a motivation session that will leave you pumped up and ready to conquer the world.
So, let's break it down. As chartered accountants, we are all about numbers, facts, and figures. But here's the thing. We can't limit ourselves to just crunching those digits. No way. We have to unleash our imaginations, break free from the ordinary, and dream big.
So now you must be wondering, what does thinking big really mean? It means throwing caution to the wind and embracing change. It means exploring uncharted territories, pushing boundaries, discovering new avenues of success. It means thinking like an entrepreneur, breathing innovation, and leaving an everlasting impact on our profession and the world.
But here's the deal. Thinking big isn't a walk in park. It requires us to conquer our fears and banish self-doubt. It demands that we surround ourselves with a squad of like-minded go-getters who inspire and uplift us. Together, we will create a force to be reckoned with, driving each other to greatness. To guide us all on how to think big, we have with us Mr. Narendra Goidhani, sir.
Sir helps ambitious entrepreneurs and senior team members that are the decision makers to solve problems, get things done, and see the big picture and achieve ambitious goals.
Their session named Let's Explore is a unique program in the world. It has inspired many chartered accountants and great personalities. Some of his corporate clients have been Bajaj Insurance, Kotak Bank, Unilever, Morgan Stanley, HSBC.
He has handheld several thousand executives from diverse fields through the unique SPICE processes with an amazing results. He has the uncanny ability to stroke the intrinsic motivation within people and make them achieve results they never imagined think of.
He is an excellent motivational, impactful speaker. He has keen interest in reading and enjoys jogging. Meditation is a daily habit for him. His favorite life mantras are
Inspire or expire.
As I live, I learn.
Be a contributor in every relationship of your life. So now, I would request Sir to guide us more on the topic.
I've been here for some time, and I found when the session ends, the clapping is very nice. Khatam ho gaya, chalo acha hai, aage badho. And when the session begins, thoda soft clapping aata hai कि पता नहीं क्या होने वाला है. My two friends who introduced me, thank you very much. And your name is Sayukta. Sayukta said something very beautiful. Many people have done such program. Many chartered accountants and some other great people. You know what it means? Chartered accountants तो great है ही. Non-chartered accountants में भी कुछ लोगों ने program किया. That's what you meant, right? Now today I'm not going to talk about my corporate work with the CEOs, etc., etc. That's very boring work. Let me talk to you a little about my life, a little about what we do, and more importantly, a little about a student I am. 3 years ago, this guy called Athar Sharma, came into my training program, 22 years old. Engineer. He was working in a company called BMC Software. His salary 11.5 lakhs. Now inside my course, we begin and talk a lot about what is the magic of thinking big. How is it that people who have an ordinary past can go on to achieve extraordinary results? Inside the classroom, Athar was also there, and Athar asked me a very beautiful question. A question which I am sure many youngsters face every now and then. And the question was, Naren, I am just 22, 23, isn't this time for masti? मैंने कुछ जवाब दिया नहीं दिया, वहाँ से जवाब जरूर आ गया. So this is an obvious question. This is the time of our youth. Shouldn't we do masti? Rest of our life anyway we have to work. So why not do a lot of masti? When a Maitri tree is created, in the beginning, if the roots are strong, then even storms cannot uproot that tree. So I told this to Athar, in the next 5 years of your life, let's say till you reach 28, if you have done some good work, that work will give you stability for the rest of your life. And I gave Athar a challenge because Athar is a very good student. Today your salary is about 12 lakhs. Athar, how would it be if in less than 2 years' time, you reach a bracket of 50 lakhs? आज तो 12 लाख कमा रहा है, 2 साल के अंदर 50 लाख पहुंचना है, मुमकिन है तेरे लिए? What do you say? In 2 years, how about increasing the profit about 400%? You ask your chairman and he'll also say, that will be a good one. What, Sachin? Four times. Sachin does not know the question, he's saying yes. We were just discussing that the president will dedicate full year's income to the students' fraternity. And he just said yes. So on behalf of everybody, thank you so much. I mean, next time say sir seminar only 5-star hotels क्योंकि budget आ गया है. So I gave this challenge to Atharv. Atharv कर पाएगा क्या? Atharv said, if I give my 200%, 12 से तो ज़्यादा ही मिलेगा. और अगर 50 मिल गया तो कोई गम नहीं है. I think he's just going to check his bank account. थोड़ा सेटिंग वेटिंग कर ले नहीं तो मुश्किल हो जाएगा. Atharv appeared for 3 interviews and he got a salary offer of about 18 lakhs as the maximum salary in Pune. 18 was the maximum that he got. In these interviews, Atharv realized that when the people at the other end are asking me questions, my questions are not coming from a position of power. बहुत डर के जवाब दे रहा हूँ. In one company was asked, why should we give you 25 lakhs as salary, batao? And Atharv had no answer. He just said, नहीं मतलब मेरे को चाहिए. अरे चाहिए तो तेरे को ऐश्वर्या राय भी चाहिए, लेकिन थोड़े ना लाके दे सकते हैं. तुम लायक कैसे हो ये कैसे इस्टेब्लिश करोगे? Why should we pay you 25 lakhs? वो प्रूव नहीं कर पाए. मैं मेहनत करूंगा, मैं बहुत डेडिकेटेड रहूंगा, बहुत काम करूंगा. वो तो हमारा वॉचमैन भी करता है. तुमको 25 लाख क्यों दूं? He was grilled and he could not give an answer. So Atharv came back saying, मेरे पास इंजीनियरिंग का नॉलेज है, मेरे पास कोडिंग का नॉलेज है, but I don't have the expertise to face an interview. And in the interview, this is my goal. The person who is interviewing me should be scared that I will join another company. I should not be scared whether I'll get a job over here or not. He said, I want to be so good in my interviews. He started appearing for interviews of any company which is offering more than 25 lakhs for the work that he wanted to do. He appeared in about 16 companies. He was rejected in all the 16 companies. But he said, everywhere I learned. एक एक कंपनी से समझ रहा हूं कि क्या कमी है, क्या कमी है, क्या कमी है, क्या कमी है, क्या कमी है. 16 जगह जाने के बाद में 16 कमियां मेरी पूरी हो गई. I never went for a job. I always want to know what is the company looking for which I don't have. His breakthrough came when he appeared for Paytm interview in Hyderabad. And there he got a job offer of 45 lakhs. And Atharv said, I think I was 7 out of 10 in that interview. थोड़ा और improve करूँ ना, तो शायद और अच्छा मिल सकता है. Now this is what I guided Atharv. I said, Atharv, if you really want to do well, have the company of people who are much smarter than you. In the evenings after your work is over, have the company of people with whom you get entertainment. Maja, masti, hasi, go to see movies, have a blast, play games. But during work hours, cultivate the company of people who are smarter than you. If you just sit with them, you will learn. The way they handle situations, you will learn. The way they present a case, you will learn. What an organized education can never teach you. You will learn in the presence of people who are smarter than you. Now, Atharv every evening started sitting online for about an hour, interacting with people on LinkedIn in areas where he wants to develop excellence, where they are already excellent. Let's say, for example, if some of you over here want to become CFOs of a top 100 company of India. Let's say you want to be a CFO of a company which is doing at least 5,000 crores of turnover. Now, if you can start creating relationships with people who are CFOs of a 5,000 crore company, And as you follow them on LinkedIn, as you follow them on social media, as you interact with them in different public platforms where they are invited, you will find just through observing them, through their body language, through the way they talk to people, you will get to learn so much. Atharv started doing this. Okay. Whenever you want to learn and grow in life, these issues will come. Okay. You don't give them bhav, it becomes okay. To cut a long story short, after about 9.5 months, that is just about 6 months ago, Atharv got an offer from Salesforce in Hyderabad, and his salary package, 1 crore 21 lakhs. His parents, after working their entire life, have not earned 1 crore 21 lakhs. This boy, in a single year, will earn 1 crore 21 lakhs. Now also visualize. In these 3 years, Atharv wanted to have a good time. He wanted to do time pass. He wanted to have fun. Like when I was coming inside, I saw 2 friends on Candy Crush inside the hall. I don't know about Candy Crush, but my heart went through a crush. Ore yaar. I believe, irrespective of what has been your past, whether you have passed with 40% in your school, you have gone through 3 exams before you went through wherever you have reached in CA, it does not matter. What matters are these few important choices that you make. I'm going to work with people who are smarter than me. I am going to fail systematically to expose myself. And through that exposure, I will learn where do I need to become better. How many of you are working in articleship? So many of you. When you go back to office, tell your boss, give me the most challenging assignments. Don't ask for easy work. Ask for challenging work. Let's assume you will fail. Let's assume the boss will shout and scream at you. But in the process, you will learn what you don't know. I have a student of mine whose name is Kuldeep Ruchandani. In CS, company secretaries, they are supposed to be one of the biggest in Pune PCMC. They have about 150 MNC clients. KPRC is the name of their firm. Kuldeep passed his CS exam in the 7th attempt. 7th attempt. And I remember very clearly, in one of the meetings that he had with an Italian company, the MD of that company, who were setting up a big plant in India and wanted to appoint them as company secretary, asked Kuldeep, I have come to know that you took 7 efforts to pass. So should I even give you my work, or should I give it to somebody who passed on the first attempt? Dangerous question, right? Kuldeep smiled and said, sir, I will give you good news. That fellow who passed on the first attempt, what he studied came in the exam. He was lucky. What I studied did not come in the exam. I was unlucky. Then I studied 2nd time. I studied 3rd time. By the 7th time, I have studied everything properly. Therefore, I am the best professional that you can find, not that person who passed for the first time. He got the job. By no means am I encouraging any one of you to fail 6 times. I am saying every now and then you will be thrown in a situation which looks against you, where you feel you are disadvantaged. But then you can turn it to your advantage. I remember my childhood days. It was class 9th. In our school, we had to take one extra curricular subject. And we had 3 options in our school: carpentry, embroidery, and accountancy. We used to call it bookkeeping, where we will be taught those 3 golden rule accountings and stuff like that. First class, we have Dr. Professor Ghosh who's taking our session. 9A and 9B are sitting together, about 60 of us in the class. And he asked all of us a question which you should also answer. He asked us this question: by becoming a CA, what do you want to be? Chalo, goal is to become a CA. Having become a CA, whom do you want to become? Now that day in my classroom, इतना आगे किसने सोचा था? CA बन जाए वही गड़ी बात है. उसमें भी कितना 7-8% पास मार्क है. उससे आगे नहीं सोच सकते हम. But he asked us this question. And I had come first in class 8th. So he said, those who have come first and second, please stand up. I was one of the 5 who stood up. And he said, okay, as a CA, what do you want to be? An uncle of mine, whose name is Ram, he used to have a CA firm with about 20 chartered accountants, and I'm speaking about 1988 in Calcutta. And his was the biggest. So with a sense of ambition, I told Professor Ghosh that I want to become a CA, and within 5 years of practice, I will have 25 CAs working with me in my firm. And I thought it's quite a bold, big decision. By the time I am 25, I will have 25 CAs working for me. I thought it's pretty good, pretty decent. Don't you think? If any one of you by 25, you have 25 CAs working for you, that will be good, right? Others also said certain things. Professor Ghosh was not impressed at all. He was not impressed. Mike is not impressed. He looked at the 5 of us, and for 5 to 6 minutes, he gave us a lot of galis. I am saying he gave us galis. Why are you happy? Your audience to matlab. He said, तुम लोग नालायक हो, तुम लोग बेवकूफ हुए, तुम्हारे अक्कल नाम की कोई चीज नहीं है. And he said, God is stupid that he has given you brains. Looking at you, I am convinced even God can make mistakes. Correct. महान है. सही. Thank you very much. Maybe he's looking at this Banjar Bhumi and saying. He asked the 5 of us to stay back, and I was livid with anger, very angry. अरे यार जिंदगी में किसी ने इतनी बेइज्जती नहीं की है, इसकी क्यों बेइज्जती कर रहा है? और बड़ा गोल बोला यार, 25 सीए काम करेंगे, इतना बात बोला है, मतलब खराब थोड़े ना बोला है. He asked the 5 of us to stay back. He finished his session. And then when everybody had left, he looked at the 5 of us and said something which changed my life. He said, for some reason, you have been given brains and grasping ability by the Creator. That's why you are able to study well. If people who come first in class don't dream big, then who will? And then he say, why are you limiting your brains and saying, मैं एक सीए बनूंगा, मेरे 25-50 क्लाइंट होंगे, मेरे 100 क्लाइंट होंगे, 2-3-4 लाख रुपए महीने का कमाऊंगा. ये इतनी छोटी सोच क्यों है? And he said, why don't you dream about being the finance minister of our country or the governor of RBI? उनको भी तो अकाउंट्स बैलेंस करना है. और तुमको अकाउंट बैलेंस करना आता है, तुम सीए बने हो ना, तो छोटा क्यों सोच रहे हो? And he looked at us and said, you are very selfish. If you're only thinking about yourself and a little money that you can earn, who will lift this country? And if a good human being goes on to become the governor of RBI or the finance minister of a country, you can impact the whole country. मतलब क्यों तुमको लगता है कि तुम वहां नहीं पहुंच सकते? Prove, convince me that you do not have in you the ability to reach the top. Maybe you don't want to commit. Maybe you are scared. Maybe you think if you fail, you won't be able to stand on your feet. And then he asked us, tell me about one successful person in this world who has never failed. And if every big failure, every big success has failed a few times, then why are you scared of failures? Expose yourself. Learn what is the scope of improvement. And be sensible enough to develop yourself. If I have 25 CS with me, I will earn how much? 1 crore a year? But if I am the governor of RBI, what will be the impact of my intelligence? That day I decided, in this life, if there is anything I do, I will do thinking I want to reach the top. Anything I do, I want to reach the top. Today I am a life coach, and there are enough platforms where I am being called the best life coach of this country. 2015, we decided to launch a platform on parenting. We call it Wow Parenting. We believe just through right parenting, in a single generation, we can change the whole world. 2021, 2 years ago, best apps, the best app measuring application in the whole world, calls Wow Parenting the best parenting advice platform in the whole world. We have something called Keep Moving Movement, where we go to schools and we train about 40,000 children every year on life skills, free. And that's why I was asking your president, कि यार सीए में कितने बच्चे होंगे? हमारे पास ये कंटेंट तो है. This year we are working with government of Andhra and we'll be training about 6 lakh children in Andhra. We are working with government of Uttar Pradesh where we'll be training about 7 lakh teachers over there. Today, we are the biggest grassroots level education movement in the whole country. And we do this for free for all the children, all the students. No school and no student has to pay a single rupee. Dr. Professor Ghosh taught me, if you have to do something, go for the top. घास का वैल्यू नहीं होता है, वो ना पैरों के तले रौंदे जाते हैं और बरगद के पेड़ की पूजा होती है. तुम अगर घास की तरह रहोगे और सपने घास की तरह देखोगे और तुम्हारी उम्मीद है कि तुम्हारी इज्जत हो, तुम्हारी पूजा हो, वो मुमकिन नहीं है. Then life is filled with insecurities, fear, ego, arrogance, and we will survive and we'll think that's an achievement. Survival is not an achievement. Earning money by itself is not an achievement. My good friend Nandu told me long time back, speaking about another friend of ours whose name is Santosh. Santosh is very poor. He has nothing but money. So think big. And think big not just to have, but think big to give. And in the process, you will have all that you care to have. Atharv is an example. Every success story in this world is an example. For various reasons, I could not go on to become a professional. So my life, I've studied only till class 12th. I've never been to college as a student. Our family went through a big financial debacle, so I had to start earning money after I passed my 12th. But what Professor Ghosh had given to me, think big and reach the top, we have done it in 3 aspects of life where we are very active. I really believe that chartered accountants are super smart people. I also believe we don't think big. It's time that this bunch of people over here changes that perception about chartered accountants in this country and in this world. So think big. You will fail a lot of times. You will meet setbacks. But if Atharv can brave all that and reach 1 crore plus, if that is how somebody has to grow in life, so be it. So one of those days I should be able to read about you in a magazine cover, or if I'm sitting in my home as I see a TV interview going on, I should be able to look at my family and say, oh, this person was there that day in that program where we discussed about Think Big. Will you make that a reality for me? Wish you all the best and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. That was enlightening. Now I would like to request Pratham to please give a vote of thanks.
Thank you, sir, for presenting us such an interesting topic. Guys, can we please have a huge round of applause for Mr. Narendra, sir? As sir gave us real life examples of Atharv, so sometimes we think ourselves we are not capable of doing something. So we shouldn't do that. That's what sir said. You have to think big. So you have to reach at the top. That's why you have to think big. And also I liked one sentence that sir said, that survival is not an achievement. You have to excel. As chartered accountants, we have to do something more than our curriculum and our syllabus after being qualified as a chartered accountant. And also one point where sir said that you have to sit with more smart people than you. And I really like that point. Thank you, sir, for explaining more about that point. And so I believe everyone must have definitely taken something from this session. And it was really our honor to have you, sir. Thank you so much.
Now I request CA Sachin Bansal, branch chairman, to honor our very own Central Council, CA CV Chitre sir, to honor with memento and flower bouquet.
I now request Central Council member CA CV Chitle sir to honor Mr. Arvind Kinsera with a special memento and a floral bouquet. I now request Central Council member CA CV Chitle sir to give a special address. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, honorable faculty for the session, genius members from Students Association, and all of you student friends, and office bearers of Pimpri-Chinchwad branch. It's indeed a pleasure to participate in this students' conference. You must have been informed that now from August, ICAI has announced a new course for the purpose of CA students, and there are certain changes which have been incorporated. Now, you are undergoing the present course, and that is the course which is forthcoming, and from August the enrollment will start. So if you feel that maybe something special will be available to those students and you are deprived of that, please don't bear that diffidence in your mind, let me assure you that whatever course contents are there, whatever are being imparted on you, that course is a world-class course. As you are aware that the institute is not an association of chartered accountants, but it is a body constituted under an act of parliament, and even before the constitution was adopted in the year 1949, our institute was constituted under this particular act. Since then, whatever training is given to the students, and particularly the practical training, that is the USP of this particular course. And those who have qualified under this course which you are undergoing, let me inform you that across the length and breadth of India, there is demand for such chartered accountants. In fact, last time we held campus placement, and in case of campus placement, around 11,500 vacancies were there, and the available chartered accounts were 10,800. So vacancies were more than the number of chartered accountants available. Even 3 years ago, we did some survey of international scenario, and there we realized that in more than 100 countries, chartered accountants who have qualified under this course which you are studying are already working as CFOs. And today, if you knock the door of a CFO, maybe in England, in France, in Middle East, or in Canada, Australia, out of 10 doors, inside 6 doors, you will find Indian chartered accountant. And they are rendering useful services to those in those countries. And the reason is certain accounting and other aspects relating to computer electronics which are informed to you. Now, Ind AS is a part of your syllabus, which is derived from the world accounting language of IFRS, and therefore, whenever you are able to negotiate with Ind AS, you can safely assume that anywhere in the world you can render services, because our standard of services is much higher than the curriculum elsewhere, and this is known world over. In fact, it was noticed that chartered accountants are not getting appropriate discounting because this benchmarking is not available across the world. What is the standard of Indian CA? So, NARIC, there is a organization in United Kingdom which benchmarks each course across the world. And when the ICI course was subjected to test by NARIC, we were rated as the postgraduate course which is comparable with any other country in the world. And after that particular accreditation, I was informed that in Africa particularly, they were not giving appropriate remuneration packages to chartered accountants. Their remuneration packages increased by 20%, and that is the story across the world. So, for the first thing that you have to understand is, if you are doing your curriculum under the present course, it is not that you are getting any inferior treatment. Your course is also world class. Now, what we have done, in order to impart certain other skill sets, we have brought about some optional modules in other courses. Those study material are also available. We have Digital Learning Hub where you can access freely. So, whenever you feel like you want to develop a skill set in a particular arena, maybe you can go through that study material. Maybe if you feel that number is good and some training session should be organized by the branch, we have dynamic chairman for students, Vaibhav Modi, chairman Sachin Bansal. They will certainly do the justice. They will bring best of the faculties and will make you understand the contents of the subject in which you are interested. As far as these programs are concerned, the curriculum which is for the purpose of academics is taught to you in your normal course. Practical training is there. But then when a survey was taken earlier years, it was realized that knowledge within is of importance, but then reflecting that knowledge to the world across is more important, because unless the third parties know that you are having that reservoir of knowledge, how they will hire you or how they can engage you as a consultant. So in order to give or unleash your inner talent and to present yourself before the audience, interact socially with your peers, your superiors, your clients, maybe such type of programs are organized so that you can participate as a paper writer, you can participate like MOC, or you can join the activities of Students Association. So your interpersonal skill sets get sharpened up, they get polished, and actually these help in long run. Here you make friends with various other students. So in long run, if they see any opportunity for you, maybe they would be contacting you. So this is the purpose of these particular seminars. It is not that once again we study capital gains and those topics of income tax or taxation. It is for the interpersonal skills, that is the focal point. And maybe there can be session in taxation on any other topic, but we expect that the students should come and speak and not the chartered accountants who are already having knowledge. Maybe they will chair the session, and if there is some misgiving in that particular session, maybe they would be able to correct it then and there. So I would appeal that conference is one program which is organized by the Vikasa Pimpri-Chinchwad branch, but there are many more programs which are being organized. So for such programs, if you come forward and if you tell that, okay, you want to present some paper on a topic of GST, on a topic of auditing, or any other topic which you feel is important for the purpose of friends, please come forward and inform Vaibhav so that he will arrange your session. Maybe your friends will be there, you can invite them. And let me tell you, you make 10 mistakes in that session, doesn't matter, because this is the era of learning for you. So while in a learning curve, you learn from your own mistakes. And those who are attending, maybe they will also learn from your mistakes. So there is nothing wrong in making mistakes. The only thing is that you cannot repeat those mistakes. So when the errors or the limitations within you come to light, you will be able to work on it and you will be able to improve upon yourself. So that is the main object of this student association activities. So I would appeal all of you to join these activities, and the branch managing committee would certainly welcome your participation in those activities, because these are the things which are learned at the dais of the institute without any cost, but you learn for your life. And friends, to conclude, let me tell you, this is the era where rather than hard working, smart working is more important. So you have to learn how to work smart. Now artificial intelligence, you are aware, ChatGPT and other now oncoming by Google, etc., those would also be addressing certain aspects. But then it is not necessary that they will be able to provide solution to a given situation, because there are so many aspects to it, and all aspects cannot be dilated by this artificial intelligence, because it works on the programs, and programs are not versatile to understand each and every situation in life. So, but then you can always take assistance of that. Now, artificial intelligence perhaps not included in the syllabi, but then you can have sessions for artificial intelligence so that you will know how to work smartly. So rather than slogging for hours together, you can compress your time and work smartly. So I will end with an incident about hard working and smart working. एक नौजवान था, उसने ये सोचा कि वो गलियारे में 100 फेरे लगाता था, वो उनकी गलियारों में 100 फेरे लगाता था, पर कुछ नहीं हुआ। एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट वहाँ से गुजरा, सिर्फ 7 फेरे लगाए और वो उसको लेके गया। धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, sir. We are fortunate to have you today, and for the valuable guidance you gave to the students regarding the future prospects CAs have in the global arena.
It's time to shift our gears now as we dive into an inspiring and motivational session.
That's right, Prajakta. We have a fantastic speaker lined up who will ignite our spirits and inspire us to reach new heights. So get ready to be motivated and empowered.
Absolutely, Sayam. This session is all about unlocking our full potential, embracing challenges, and discovering the power within ourselves. It's time to break free from any limitations and embrace a mindset of growth and success.
Today, we have a very special guest with us, a renowned motivational speaker who has inspired countless individuals. Let's dive into their conversation and uncover the essence of their impactful work.
Mr. Arvind Khivesra is a coach and corporate trainer who has done workshops with clients across industries. He has been working as a full-time coach, facilitator, and trainer since 2014. Sir, is a certified project management professional, holds a master's degree in management studies and a bachelor's degree in instrumentation engineering. In the trainings, he brings in value by sharing his vast experience of 23 years in the industry. He has experience of managing project teams in India, Brazil, China, and USA, as well as interacting with people on the shop floor to the CIOs and CEOs of various companies like Accenture, TCS, Raymond, Skoda, Thermex, IDBI, Mahindra Finance, etc. Sir has worked on various positions from thought and innovation leader, competency development lead, project manager, R&D manager, business development to training and development. He has good interpersonal skills and ability to communicate with people at all levels. From a shop floor worker to a CEO, Sir is able to adapt his presentation based on target audience profile without compromising on quality of delivery. He has conducted trainings through telepresence for virtual audiences at multiple locations.
Today, Sir is going to enlighten us on the topic of Achieve Thyself. Achieve Thyself is an initiative to help you awaken your forgotten dreams, reignite your passions, and translate them into reality. Now I request Sir to take charge and lead our audience to a journey of self-discovery through his motivating words. Over to you, Sir.
Should I say as loudly as she did? Good afternoon. Okay, how are you folks? Doesn't sound great. Okay, I have also been part of life where I have been sitting that side with somebody else meeting here. I know you have been here for almost 3.5 hours now, and I know how tiring it is. कोई तो है जो बोल रहे हैं हाँ अंदर क्या हो रहा है समझ में आता है. So can I request all of you to stand up for a while? Okay. Awesome. And I would request all of you to do as I ask you to do. Just follow my instructions. Yeah. So can I request all of you to raise your right hand? Right? क्या आता नहीं जीवता तो. Okay. एक आधा मिल जाता है उल्टा हाथ लेने वाला. All right. Now with this right hand, can we make an O? Perfect, right? All right. Now let's make L. दोन सोडून सगळे बोटे बंद. मेरा मराठी थोड़ा टूटा फूटा है. Please excuse me for that. Okay. So O, L, O, L. Simple, huh? Okay. Can you do it with the left hand? L. Okay, so let's just practice a bit. L, O, L, O, L, O, L, O. Right. Simple? Okay. Now let's do it with both hands. अभी मैंने दिखाने के लिए ऐसा किया था, ऑलरेडी शोल्डर दर्द कर रहा है तो ऐसे कर सकते हो. So whatever you are comfortable with. Now with the left hand make a L. He's getting ready. So with the left hand make a L. How left hand? With the right hand make O. Zada. Okay. And now just watch this. Okay, you got to alternately keep doing this. Karo. Alright. How many of you got it? Keep doing, keep trying, don't stop. I stopped because I already got it. Anyone? कोई भी नहीं? Okay, I'll give you a trick. I'll share a trick with you. आप लोग अभी क्या कर रहे हो ना? ऐसे हाथ रख के ऐसे देखो. You don't have to do that. Simple thing, just close your eyes. And एक मिनट पहले instructions दो फिर close your eyes. The steps are: you close your eyes and start with your left hand as a L, right hand O, right? And now there's only one instruction that you have to give your brain. And the instruction is close the open fingers and open the closed fingers. आराम से do it slowly, do it. वो एल असर है वो getting it. आराम से करो, slowly. It's okay, absolutely fine. Okay. झालं का? थोड़ा बहुत तो हो रहा है ना, if not as fast as this. Yeah? Or tell me something, if I give you half an hour, will you be able to do it perfectly? You guys are smart. It took me 2 weeks of practice at home before I could bring it to the stage. And you are saying you will get it in half an hour, and that's awesome. Great. Now you might be wondering कि talk देना है कि कसरत कराना है. थोड़ी कसरत थी दिमाग की, and at the end of my session I tell you why we did this. Okay? You may all sit down, please. Something wrong with me. Slide layout में कुछ लग रहा है. पूरा नहीं हुआ है. ठीक है. मैं तो इस slide change करूँगा. Thank you. So, पहले नरेंद्र सर जो आए थे उन्होंने अथर्व का स्टोरी सुनाया था, right? And so he talked about how somebody else, his observations about somebody else's life. But I also heard he's a life coach. And as a life coach, we always get people to look inside. So while we heard and learned from story of somebody else, what I'm going to share with you today is my own story, my own experiences of life, what I have learned in my life over my last 30 years in different professions. First, as a production engineer, as an engineering techie guy for 10 years, another 10 years as a SAP consultant, and now last 8 years as a coach and a trainer. Then the obvious question in your mind is, okay, हम CA लोगों के बीच में क्या कर रहे हैं? So interestingly, every single day, even now, if I'm not out doing trainings, I'm sitting in the middle of 40 students just like you. My dad is a chartered accountant, practicing in Mumbai, and I operate out of the same office. When I say I operate out of the same office, जिस दिन काम नहीं होता है उधर बैठता हूँ, क्योंकि काम होता है उस दिन तो बाहर होता है. And so I have been interacting all my life with students like you. I've seen the struggles of students like you. I've seen the emotions of failure and success all my life. There was a point in my life around 10th standard when I also wanted to become a CA. But गलती से मार्क्स ज़्यादा हो गए. वो टाइम पे हमारे टाइम पे सिंपल था. इतना मार्क्स आया तो साइंस लेने, इतना आया तो कॉमर्स. आता पण तसंच आहे. आता पण स्कोप जास्त आहे. Right? And this is what I'm going to share, and I've kind of broken it up into 2 parts. The first one is achieve thyself. Thyself is yourself. How do you achieve yourself? This also happens to be the name of my company. And the second part is my learning from the marathon of life. And the reason I call it marathon of life is because I'm going to bring out learnings out of my experience of running half marathons. Anybody here who runs? बस पकड़ने के लिए नहीं. Anyone here who runs 5K, 10K, 20K? Wonderful. Half marathons? 5K? Lovely. That's a great start. Incidentally, I started it when after my age of roughly 14 years, 40 years. That's the first time I actually ran. So it's never too late to begin, is what I thought. Right? So let's get started. Okay, the first part is achieve thyself, right? Achieve yourself. And why do we say that? Now folks, remember, while we were in school, while we were in junior college, our parents took great care of us to the extent that वो रोज बोलते थे ये कर वो कर, and हम लोग बोलते थे पापा मम्मा. But now on, as you enter your professional career, remember one thing: nobody out there going to come and guide you. Unless you go and ask for guidance. Now, you will have to take ownership of your life. There's no longer going to be any school for you. And as you go through your struggles, we all begin as this rough diamond that we see here, isn't it? But as we go through the struggles of life, in that moment you might feel, क्यों ये सब मैं कर रहा हूँ? मेरे साथ ही ऐसा क्यों होता है? But the interesting part is, what we mean by achievement of discipline, you will realize, no matter where we reach, no matter whether we become the RBI governor or not, doesn't matter how much we achieve in life. One thing is for sure, we end up becoming better than who we are today. Would you all agree or not? Yes? And look at life from that perspective. Every tough situation that you face in your life is actually polishing you to get the diamond out. And that's why we say achievement of thyself. So any effort that you put, it is for your own achievement. No matter what we achieve in terms of the success defined by the world, we do become better individuals as we go through those challenges. The second one is achievement by thyself. Normally बोलते हैं गणपति का मूर्ति होता है ना, अभी गणेश चतुर्थी आने वाला है. अभी तो सब बोर्ड से बनाते हैं. पहले they actually used to make a block of clay and they used to carve it out, right? But as individuals, it is now our responsibility to carve ourselves. How good or bad you will be as an individual, how good or bad you will be as a professional, how good or bad you will be as a citizen, is going to be defined by you yourself. It's very easy to say paper tough था, examiner खड़ूस था, institute result ऐसा ही देती है. But वो institute में 8% पास भी हो रहे हैं, right? पेपर तो उनके लिए भी हुई था. सेम वे उसको तो अच्छा है, उसके कंपनी में उसको ये सब मिलता है. अभी किसी को मिलता है, किसी को नहीं मिलता है. जिसको नहीं मिलता है, वो मेहनत करके भी करता है. So I'll give you an example. It's very easy to blame external circumstances. I do business coaching also, so I work with a lot of entrepreneurs. And typically when you go to entrepreneurs, you tell them आपका क्या challenge है. What is the answer they give? किसी को पूछो धंधा कैसे क्या जवाब देता है? मंदा है ना? इकोनॉमी खड्डे में है, जीएसटी ने वाट लगा दी है, वो 2 साल पहले डिमोनेटाइजेशन की वजह से. तो very standard answers, very negative mindset that people come up with. मतलब सारी दुनिया का उत्तर तो मेरे पास ही है. I ask them 2 or 3 simple questions. My first question to them is, are there other people in your business who are at the same level as you? When I say same level, in terms of turnover, revenue and all of that. What is the answer you expect? Yes. Then I ask them, do all these businesses make loss? क्योंकि आप मुझे बोल रहे हो इकोनॉमी खराब है, मार्केट खराब है, इसके लिए लॉस हो रहा है, तो बाकी सबको भी लॉस होना चाहिए ना. द एक्सटर्नल सर्कमस्टेंसेस आर बारिश हुई है तो गीले होंगे ना. अगर गीले होने की वजह बारिश है तो जैसे नहीं कोई को प्रॉफिट होता है. So then my question is, and how is it that in the same situation that you are in, one organization is making a profit, the other is not? So it's not about the outside circumstances. It's not about whether I got the opportunities or not. It's not about whether I got those facilities or not. It's not about whether I'm working in a large organization or a small organization as an entrepreneur. It's what I do wherever I am. College सब जाते हो? हाँ? नहीं, I like the frankness of this crowd. At least honestly बोला तो सही नहीं. अगर हाँ बोलते तो मैं नेक्स्ट बोलने वाला था चुप के. और जो लोग जाते भी हैं उनके लिए नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है अंदर के बाहर. That's what it is, right? It's not about the institute. It's what you do in that institute that matters. And that's why it's achievement by thyself. Nobody can make your life, you got to make it yours. You are responsible for all your life. The day you start taking that ownership, nobody can stop you. last one, of course, is achievement for thyself. Now, what do you mean by achievement for thyself? So let me ask you this question. How many of you got into this program of CA, Chartered Accountancy, because parents ने बोला था? I'll give you three options. आप लोग क्विज कर रहे हो ना सुबह से WhatsApp नंबर पे, तो मैं भी आपसे पूछता हूँ. So option A, parents ने बोला CA करो. Option B, CA में घुसना आसान है. Option C, मुझे CA बनना है. और option D, और कुछ नहीं था, कुछ में आ गया. See, for some, it could be any of these, right? A, B, C, D. And that's okay. At this phase of life, maybe we are not sure, so somebody guides us, and we get it. My point is, please make sure you are in this profession for the right reasons. Right? And it's okay if you got in because your parents wanted to, but now that you got into it, please make it a purposeful. So you don't keep it as, I'm doing it for my parents. Make sure they are doing it for yourself. Because if you can't do it for yourself, if you are not doing it for yourself, you will not be able to give your 100%. You know, there's a philosophy in life which says, if you are not happy, you cannot keep others happy. So if you're doing it for somebody else, you are not actually happy. The day you start realizing I'm doing it for myself is when you will realize you will enjoy doing it. You will enjoy the grind, you will enjoy the challenges, and that is when you will give your best and you become the diamond that you are. So find your purpose, find the right reason for pursuing this course. Don't do it because everybody else is doing it. Option ही भूल गया बोलने का, क्योंकि इसमें सैलरी ज़्यादा मिलता है. पर सैलरी तो तब मिलेगा ना जब अच्छा काम करोगे. अच्छा काम तब करोगे जब अपने इंटरेस्ट इसमें आएगा. And while I'm talking in the context of CA as a professional course, all these three things that I talked to you right now is applicable for anything and everything that you do in your life. Are we good so far? How many of you have dozed off? जो लोग सोए हैं हाथ ऊपर करो. जो लोग सोए हाथ ऊपर मत करो. जो सोए हैं हाथ ऊपर मत करो. हाँ, इसमें काफी लोग सोए हैं. All right. So now that we've talked about why achieve thyself, why it is your ownership, if it's your life, you are responsible. You cannot blame anybody else. So do it for the right reasons. Give your best, and that's when you achieve what you want to achieve. That's all. Okay? And we had a great session just before this one where we talked about thinking big. Add one more clause to it. आप लोग को तो आदत होगा ना, subject to. Subject to, we are doing it for the right reasons. What I mean by reasons, I'm not questioning your morality or your ethical values or principles. Are you doing it for yourself? That's the first question. How many of us have traveled in an aeroplane? Right? जो लोग एयर होस्टेस को नहीं देख रहे थे और इंस्ट्रक्शन सुना था, we would have learned one instruction which was, वो ऑक्सीजन मास्क गिरेगा, पहले अपने मुंह पे लगाइए, फिर दूसरों की सहायता कीजिए. Do you remember that? Yeah? पर हमको तो सिखाया जाता है पहले दूसरों की सहायता करो. Sounds like a contradiction, isn't it? But it makes a lot of sense. Because if I don't put my mask, very soon I'll be short of breath, which means I will not feel right. How am I going to be able to help somebody else? So first, if I'm willing to help, I got to help myself. I got to feel okay myself, and then I'll be able to help somebody else. It's the same thing here. The first reason, you can do for 100 reasons, you can do anything in life for 100 reasons, but please make sure your first foremost reason is because you want to do it. Otherwise, you will not enjoy doing it, you will feel drained out very soon. And that's why people in the corporate world actually burn out, because they Any course for that matter, because everybody said it was good, not because they wanted it to be good. I was counseling a 12th standard student just 2 days back. She came to my house with her parents. She wants to get into the field of designing after her 12th standard. And her parents say that वो accounts ही करना चाहिए. Which is like मुझे accounts का A नहीं समझ में आता. मैं लेकिन business करना है तो accounts समझना चाहिए. I understand the parents' perspective. They are my age, so we come from a different generation. We have grown up in a different environment. I appreciate where they are coming from. I'm not saying they are wrong. But in the context of where we are today, forcing their kid to get into accounts, even if she scores great marks, will she enjoy doing it for her life? And that's a bigger question. So are you doing it because you want to? Are you doing it because you are passionate about it? Then yes, you are in the right place. Otherwise, it's not too late to think about it. Now let's come to the second part, which was the marathon part of it. Right? Ready to run? Let your minds run, that's all. I'm not going to ask you to physically do that. So I'm going to show my journey of marathons. I was 22 half marathons and 1 full marathon. I started in 2013. याद है लोगों दिमाग में अकाउंटेंट होगा कैलकुलेशन करते हैं उसने बोला था 40 की उम्र में भागना चालू किया था 13 साल से भाग रहा है. So let's look at this run and let's see what are my learnings out of this runs. I started in 2013. The first one, the color codes are just the different runs. So I've typically run 5 marathons. The green one is Vasai Virar, which is in Mumbai. The second one is Mumbai, earlier it used to be called Standard Chartered, now it's called Tata Mumbai Marathon. The third one, yellow, is Satara, the Hill Marathon. You know it better, it's much closer to you guys out here. Fourth one was Navy Marathon, again in Mumbai. And the last one is Surat, and that was a night marathon. So these are the 5 types of marathons that I run. So the color code just indicates which marathon I'm talking about. Right? So my first ever run of my life, time run, of course, practice पहले किया था. It took me 2 hours 56 minutes to do 21 kilometers. And I can tell you, the last 5 kilometers, I was thinking, I am going to go. Okay? Next, after a few months, October to January, did the Mumbai Marathon, very flat surface, very nice surface. By that time, I realized what is going wrong. Body का कौन सा part weak है, किसको strengthen करना and all that. My timing improved a bit. So ये ग्राफ है ना थोड़ा उल्टा है, इसमें नीचे जाता है तो अच्छा है. That's why it told me. Time कम हो रहा है. So 2:46, which was great. And now I was like, boss, I'm there. Okay, marathon भागना है, सुबह उठ के भाग लेंगे. And my third run happened to be Satara Hill Marathon, which is you have to go 10 kilometers uphill and 10 kilometers downhill. And that run took me 2 hours 53 minutes. Till that time, almost words ever, I can say because the first one 256 was just a benchmark. And that's something that there's a lesson that I learned here, which is every journey is different. And I may have done a marathon, I may have done 2 marathons, I may have done a marathon in the same place, and yet every marathon is different. Because every marathon, even if the route is the same, the weather could be different. The way I have practiced for that marathon could be different. Whether I got enough sleep or not the previous night could be different. There's so many factors to it. And similarly in your lives, when you become a chartered accountant, and let's say you move from one assignment to another, from one audit to another audit, it's very easy, it's very tempting, and I've seen people do that. एक किया है ना दूसरा audit तो same ही होता है. क्या फर्क पड़ेगा? क्या ध्यान देना? Just be mindful. Every journey is different. The journey for every person is different, and for the same person, every journey is different. It works both ways. So be careful, guys. Don't get overconfident. It's good to have confidence, but be mindful. Don't get overconfident about it. Now we moved along. So I started practicing. The next Stancy was about 2 hours 20 minutes, which was great. 2:49. Satara always used to take more time. But this time I realized there's something else which is a problem. 2:59 was heartbreaking for me. I mean, imagine having done 5 marathons, 6 marathons, and then again hitting a worse time. Like it would always be a peak because para is a peak. So all my Sadara timings would be more than the other, and that's taken. But 259 by itself was very depressing for me in that moment. And that's when I realized the way I have been training so far possibly may not be the best way to train for this Sadara marathon. And from that day onwards, in my practice, I started doing slopes in my locality. Earlier I used to run around my locality which was flat roads. But hill takes different sets of muscles. The day I got 259, I said, this is not going to work. You got to practice for the hill. So we used to climb stairs in my building. I used to do runs on the slopes and practice myself. Because typically, normally when you run these muscles which are used, but when you're going over a hill, it's your thigh muscles that are used. So depending on the terrain that you're on, different sets of muscles are used. And that's what I learned. Adapt. Change. I have seen a few of articles in my office who have been valiantly trying for their CA certificate or for their passing the CA final exams. They've been doing attempt after attempt. I really admire their perseverance. But I also have a problem with one thing that they are studying the same way for all the exams, the way they used to study for their first exam. Now, if you keep, Albert Einstein has said, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're going to get the same results over and over again. So, in case you come across a situation where I'm not getting the results that I want, just sit back, reflect, and see what do I need to change in the way I'm doing it. Is there a different way of studying? Is there a different way of approaching this subject, this question, this problem, whatever that means? Adapt yourself. In fact, in a very different context, today if you ask any corporate, what are the 2 key skills they need in any profession, not just chartered accountants, any profession, what do you think those skills are? Any guesses? Sorry? Communication, alright. What else? Creativity, alright. Now everything that you said, yeah. Critical thinking, awesome. Now all the skills that you said, they would come in the top 10 for sure. They are all very important. But the top 2 skills that people are looking for is or are adapting to changes, which is your adaptability, and the second is your learnability. How fast do you learn new things? Gone are the days when people could say, मेरा specialty ये है, मेरे को इतना ही मालूम है, ये मेरा काम नहीं है. Because the way the world is changing, the way आपका GST का दिन में 3 amendment आता है. And if you're not able to adapt to that, life is going to be difficult. So learn to adapt. These are the 2 key skills. Communication skills, critical thinking, decision making, all of these are important. I'm not saying they're not important, but these 2 are the top things. People are not looking at what you know. People are looking at are you willing to learn. Because what you know, I can find 5 people. But what is their mindset? Are they willing to learn if something new comes up? That is the question mark today. And if you are able to build that skill, that is what we need. So let's move on. After adapting, times got better, and I reached a stage. Now this was the next one is showing half. I just read up the context here. This is the Vasai Virar Marathon, Mumbai. Now a day before the marathon, I practiced really hard. People were playing cricket in our community. So I say मैं बाहर जा रहा था मैं बोला 2 बॉल खेलने दे तो they said 1 match खेलते so we started playing a match and I hit the ball and I ran run लेने गया at the non-striker's end the bat got stuck which means I got a jerk on my back and I have a weak lower back and it started hurting. लेकिन मैराथन ऐसा चीज है ना कि रजिस्टर कर दे तो भागना है आपका सवाल ऐसा वैसे बोलेगा छोड़ दिया. So I came home, my wife is a doctor, I didn't tell her that I got it. Because otherwise she would not let me go. I said, थोड़ा सा दुख रहा है, देखते हैं कल सुबह क्या होता है. I went next day morning, we had to get up at 3 o'clock because we had to reach the venue at 5 o'clock. So I went there at 3 o'clock. Got up at 3 o'clock, dukh raha tha. And I told myself, नीचे तक तो जाके देखता हूँ, अगर नहीं चलने होगा तो वापस घर आ जाऊंगा. बाइक को कुछ नहीं बोला था. This is a talk happening with myself. I reached the podium. I said स्टेशन तक जाके देखता हूँ, अगर ठीक नहीं लगा तो आ जाऊंगा. I reached the station. I said ट्रेन में अभी यहाँ तक आ गया ना, तो ट्रेन में बैठ के ही जाना है. वसई स्टेशन तक जाके देखता हूँ, अगर ठीक नहीं लगा तो वापस आता हूँ. वसई स्टेशन पे जाके पहुंचा. Let me go to the holding area, which is 5 kilometers away from the station. They had buses. I said यहाँ तक आ गया तो वहाँ तक जा दूँ ना, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा नहीं भागूंगा. I went there, and after I went there, I said, take care. Interestingly, that run happens to be my best ever run. 2 hours 8 minutes. It was my dream time. Below 2:10 was my dream time. And that is the day when I realized challenges are great. Now it's probably because of that back pain. Now you would realize, any one of you, if you have experienced back pain, you change the way you walk to reduce that pain. Have you realized that? इधर दुखता है तो थोड़ा ऐसा करके चलते हैं, इधर दुखता है तो ऐसा करके चलते हैं, and it reduces that pain. Now it's quite possible what that pain did for me was, it actually corrected my posture of running. Now I would no longer run like this. I started running like this, and that's the right way to run. Keep your chest out, stand tall, and bend at your feet. Normally what we do, because we are not professionals, we bend here at the waist, which is a wrong strategy. That pain caused me to run correctly, unknowingly, and that is the day I realized the right way to run. And that's the beauty of challenges, that's the beauty of problems. Remember the rough diamond to the finish? The good one? That's what challenges do. So when you get a challenge, what do you want to do? Feel unhappy about it or feel grateful for it? Because that's the day you are going to move to the next level. Don't avoid challenges. I've been managers to teams of more than 100 people, and one thing that I've looked at is I will always look at people who are willing to take up a challenge. Because I knew these are the people to be promoted. But these are the people who are willing to take charge and do things when they are not working. When everything is working, big deal. Anybody can make it work, isn't it? If something goes wrong and you make it work, that's what makes you special. So look forward to challenges, because that's where your growth lies. Let's move to the next one. Now, somewhere along the way, I reached 240, I was doing pretty well. So 230 to 210 is a nice band for me, looking at the amount of time I spent practicing, looking at the amount of effort I put in. I'm happy with my timing of 210 to 230, that's okay. Because I'm not there to win the gold medal and the cash prize. That is for the Kenyans to do. Right? But this one run in November 19, it took me 2 hours 41 minutes. And again, that was the Navy Marathon, which is simple one. And that's when I realized something's wrong. One, I become complacent. But two, I tried everything that I knew. I tried to put everything to practice, and yet my timings have deteriorated. And that's the time I realized. The moment I hit 241, that day I went back home, I talked to a few other runners. I actually made some better runners look at the way I was running, analyze that thing, and get feedback. And the feedback that I got in terms of the way my posture was, in terms of the way my bending was, in terms of the way I was breathing, that helped me go back to 220. So always seek feedback. Don't be afraid of seeking feedback. Normally what happens with feedback? Do we all like feedback? सब मुंडी हिला दे, लेकिन जो से कोई नहीं बोल रहा है। और मुंडी भी आज ये आप लोग को हाँ बोल रहे हो ना, इसका और एक बता देना, especially if you are working with multinationals and foreign clients, this is what they call as the Indian yes. हम लोग हाँ ऐसे बोलते हैं, हाँ I will do it. And those poor guys are confused, ये हाँ बोल रहा है कि ना बोल रहा है, मुंह से हाँ बोल रहा है, body language ना बोल रहा है, हो ना, हो बराबर है. So if you want to say a yes, say it like this. Now you guys are smarter. ऐसा नहीं करने का, हाँ हाँ हाँ, अभी दोनों मिक्स है. Do you like feedback? Sure. I know what the truth is. We all see. I love feedback. The sentence is not complete. Comma, or फिर अंदर बोलते. as long as it is true. Now, what you are doing good, you are doing well. That's absolutely fine. But the real feedback is which tells you where you can improve. So next time, whenever you get into a job, whenever you are getting a feedback, take the feedback. But I'll give you one more tip. Don't only ask for feedback. Tell them, give me feed forward. What is feed forward? So feedback is giving you inputs based on what you did. So let's say I was working as a manager and I went to my manager and I asked him, give me my feedback. And his typical answer would be, you are doing great, you are doing wonderful, that's why you got the best rating. And then I asked him, why did I get the promotion? He said, but you are not ready for the next step. Feedback is for what you did in the past. But if you want to move ahead, you have to ask your managers, what else I need to do to be able to move ahead. And that's a feed forward. That is where they will tell you what are the areas you are lacking in and how you want to get better. So seek feedback, guys. Okay, last but most important thing, guys, know when to stop. Now, if you look at my graph, 20th November 22, 242, 48, and people who follow marathon will ask me a question, अरविंद इसके बाद में एक वसई विराट हुआ था और एक टाटा मैराथन भी हुआ था, वो क्यों नहीं किया आपने? So this was November 22. This last one, 242, the last 5 kilometers, I did enjoy the run. And I thought maybe सर्दी वर्दी हुआ है तो थोड़ा weakness होगा, नहीं मजा आ रहा है. So by 1st or 2nd of December, because the Vasai run was on 11th of December, I think whatever Sunday was falling there, 11th or 9th, whatever Sunday was. 1 week before that, I generally have a practice to run 60 kilometers. So I said, let me go 2nd December, I remember, because 1st is my birthday. 2nd December, I went for the run. I ran for about 2 kilometers. And I just didn't feel right. कुछ मजा नहीं आता. And then I told myself, हार में गया, नहीं करूँगा. After that, I walked for 4 kilometers and everything was fine, but I just didn't feel like running. So I came back home and I told my wife, this is what happened. And she said, exactly what happened. I said, I was feeling some warm sensation here. I said, are you feeling it the entire day or do you feel it only while you were running? I said, only when I was running. He said, well, not so great news, let's go to the cardiologist. So we went to a cardiologist. He said, angiography करना पड़ेगा, कुछ तो block है. So we went for the treatment. 23rd, by 23rd December, I got my angioplasty done, 1 block, 1 stent. If I had run on that day, the practice day, I'm sure I would have fallen somewhere else. And that's why there's a very thin line between stretch yourself. Now, typically I would tell you, especially CA students, right? Stretch yourself because you don't know आप लोगों को कितना efforts लगेगा, कितना attempts लगेगा, कुछ मालूम नहीं पड़ता है. So don't give up is what we normally say. But at the same time, you got to be mindful when to stretch and when to give up. You need to know when to stop, what is the right time to stop. And your body gives you those sensations. Your gut feeling tells you when it's the right time to stop. So be observant. Don't just follow blindly. Okay? Does it mean I won't run ever again? Well, I've started 2 kilometers right now. So I have to now start again from where I was in 2013. And that's another lesson of life. In a new environment, in a new context, in a new situation, you may have to start afresh. And that's why, if you remember, I used the word learning. Are you willing to learn again? Are you willing to adapt yourself? That's when you achieve what you want to achieve. कितने लोगों के लिए भाग रहे हैं पेट में चूहे? All right, let me keep those for a minute. Now I've removed all the numbers, everything, and I've just kept the chart. What does this look like? What does this look like? Mountain? Heartbeat? अच्छा नहीं है, इसको तो ICU में डालना पड़ेगा अगर ऐसा heartbeat है. If you really think about it, guys, isn't this the chart of life? Isn't this how your life has been so far? Sometimes ups, sometimes down. Would you like a flat line on your cardiogram? So why do you want a flat line on your career path? This is how it is going to be. There will be times when you get a tailwind, somebody pushes you, get opportunities even when you don't expect them. And I'll give you a very nice example. I've seen people who are working in an organization who otherwise would not get promoted. And suddenly their senior quit. There was nobody else in the organization and they were promoted. What is this? Tailwind. Anyone cycles here? Cycle chala hai? No. Okay. So when you are cycling, जब पीछे से हवा होती है तो क्या होता है? Less effort, more results. But then when you have to come back, what happens? The same wind is against you. Now more effort, right? Now this is what life is all about. There will be times when you will have tailwind. There will be times when everything goes your way. Make the most of it. There will be times when there is headwind. When you will have to put more effort. Now the choice is whether you want to quit or you want to stay afloat so that when again the tailwind comes, you are able to ride. And that's the way you will be able to achieve yourself. अरे खत्म नहीं हुआ है. I just want to leave you with one last thought. So these are the key messages again, if you might want to record it. Every journey is different, adapt, challenges are great, seek feedback. One last important thing, and I've mentioned it in different ways, even during the talk already. It is not your technical skills that will take you too far. In your starting days of your career, you will be evaluated based on your technical skills. But what takes you ahead in life over a longer period of time is your attitude. Your technical skills are your aptitude, my knowledge, how much I know, how much I do, how much knowledge I have, how much can I do, how many times I get my balance sheet right, how many audit comments am I able to figure out for my client's audit. That's your aptitude. So initially that gives you footing. That builds your credibility as a professional. But what takes you ahead in life is going to be your attitude. If you realize all the 4 learnings that we talked about earlier, what related to your attitude, how do you face challenges, what is your mental approach when problems come in? If you are willing to take that up, if you are willing to push yourself, you don't need anybody else to ensure that you are at the peak of whatever career, whatever profession you choose to be in. Thank you.
Thanks for asking that. Why did I do that? Okay. So tell me something, when we started, did it sound simple? When I gave you the instructions, did it sound simple? Very simple, na? क्या आप बच्चे जैसा काम कर रहा है इधर? When you started doing it, what happened? Stuck? नहीं जम रहा है ना? When you started it. With a little bit of practice, did we get better? Yes. And this is what is true of any learning in your life. Be it riding a bicycle, be it making a chapati at home, be it doing your CA stuff, or any other profession. When you're sitting in a classroom and the professor says something, ye to malum hai. When you're sitting in your office and your senior says something, ye to ho jayega. When you actually sit down to fill up that, कौन सा form होता है आपका? ITR के लिए कौन सा form भरते हैं? इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न का फॉर्म नंबर क्या है? नहीं मालूम? अलग अलग रहता है, चलो इतना तो मालूम है. Thank you so much. So when you actually sit down to fill that form, do we get stuck? Have you realized something? आप कोई भी फॉर्म भरो, the most careful you are, and you check it 5 times when you are filling your date of birth. Have you realized that? 4 बार check करते बराबर भरा है कि नहीं. And that's why I have this statement. The closest a man comes to perfection is when he's filling an application form. Okay, coming back to the point, what happens when you're filling the ITR form? When somebody explained it to you, you felt it is so simple. इसमें भरने का क्या, सब तो लिखा है, आराम से देख के भर लेंगे. But when you actually sit down to fill it, we come across problems, right? And it will happen for anything that you are taught, anything that you're trying to learn. Now the challenge is when you go to apply anything that you learn, you will come across this situation. And that is the moment when 2 things happen. Some people say, भाड़ में गया, अपना पहले वाला अच्छा था, वही सिस्टम करते हैं. And some people say, नहीं आता है तो नहीं, थोड़ा practice करते हैं तो आ जाएगा. And the same thing happened in this audience. Some people tried and you got it. Some people tried for 2 things and छोड़ना क्या करने का है. And this is the lesson that I wanted to bring out, because whatever you try to learn in your life, no learning or training, if I have to use the word from the side of this auditorium, no training fails in the room when the training is going on. No training actually fails because of the trainer also. The training succeeds or fails depending on what happens after you go outside of this room. Because what you do with that learning determines whether it will be successful or not. How many of you have heard knowledge is power? How many of you believe knowledge is power? It is not. क्या बोल रहा है ये? Knowledge by itself is not power. Knowledge when applied becomes power. And my urge to all of you over these 2 days, whatever you hear, whatever you learn, and you don't need to remember everything that was said, it is humanly impossible, and we get that. But whatever 2 things you find are the most valuable for you at this moment, please make sure when you go back, you apply them. Because normally motivation session में क्या होता है मालूम है? जब बाहर जाते हैं ना तो सब ऐसे जाते हैं, कल से कर ले दुनिया मुट्ठी में. फिर 2 महीने बाद में किसी को आप में से कोई मिलेगा, कैसे हो? अच्छा सर, अच्छा क्या किया सेशन में, किया था उसके बारे में. What are the answers that I get? Let's say wherever you are working, right, or even your professors, if they know you have come to this conference, they mute you after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they say, अच्छा क्या सीख के आए, उसको क्या किया उसके बारे में. Typical answers are, ट्राई किया. ये तो बहुत ही अच्छा आंसर है. झूठे. Some people say टाइम नहीं मिला. Some people say try किया, हुआ नहीं, अटक गया. Some people say बहुत difficult है. You know, if I get any of these answers from you after 2 months, I'll be very happy. I'll be elated. Yeah, my session was successful. Because typically the answer is, कौन सा training? And it's not your facilitator's fault. It's just that we didn't apply what we learned. So go back over these 2 days. Whatever 2 things, I'm not asking you for all the sessions, whatever 2 things you find are important for you right at this point in time, will be useful for you for the next few months or a year, please start putting it to use. And that is when you will truly achieve thyself. Thank you. I've already been told, Aja official.
I now request Karthik Majke, a Vikasa member, to propose the vote of thanks.
On behalf of Pimpri Chinchwad branch of WRC of ICI, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Mr. Arvind sir. Your electrifying presence and powerful words have ignited a fire within each of us, urging us to dream bigger and reach higher. Your insights have inspired us to embrace resilience, believe in our potential, and preserve through any obstacles. Your dedication to uplift others is truly admirable. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, passion, and unwavering energy. You have left an indelible mark on our hearts and minds, and we are forever grateful for the positive impact you have made. Thank you, sir.
We have a special offer for you guys. You can buy 60% off coupons of Diamond Water Park, Sneha Resort, Prathamesh Resort, and also of Chisano Pizza. So make use of this wonderful opportunity as you can buy it in very, very low prices. Interested students can buy the coupons from the registration desk post valedictory session, and we will also distribute the students' kit after the exciting cultural program.